The story began with battlefield is in ruins, with countless fallen warriors. Thunder roars in the sky, and lightning flashes across the dark clouds. Someone in elegant robes steps forward, gripping a dagger that radiates dark energy. They acknowledge Qin Feng's remarkable strength, recognizing his unique abilities that allowed him to survive this deadly trial. Standing atop a pile of monstrous corpses, a heavily warrior speaks. Despite Qin Feng's extraordinary resilience, he declares his victory, claiming possession of the powerful artifact the Eye of Judgment. He clutches the sword piercing his body. Shock and pain fill his eyes as he questions the reason behind this sudden act of treachery. Qin Xiaoyu stands in the ruins, gripping a strange artifact while declaring her identity. Qin Feng calls out to her. She coldly dismisses, reminding him that he is merely an adopted child. She refuses to acknowledge their bond. Sun Fei interrupts, disapproving of her harsh words. However, Xiaoyu brushes him off. She acknowledges his presence. Sun Fei mocks Qin Feng. He thanks him sarcastically, revealing that Xiaoyu and he were able to obtain a powerful weapon thanks to his efforts. Without hesitation, he explains how he embedded the Soul Reaper sword into Qin Feng's body to drain his life force, treating it as a twisted token of gratitude. Qin Feng recalls how he raised Qin Xiaoyu in their parents' absence, protected her, and risked his life countless times. Now, he realizes he was wrong to trust her. Xiaoyu resents his control over her life and only saw him as a temporary necessity. Now that she and Song Fei have secured the artifact, she declares that he is no longer of any use. Song Fei moves in for the final blow, mocking Qin Feng. He tells him to accept his fate and die peacefully, promising to take good care of Xiaoyu in his absence. But Qin Feng refuses to surrender. He roars that he will never let them go even if it costs him his life. Song Fei stands victorious, striking down Qin Feng with finality. The year is 2025. An event known as the Forgotten Game of God descends upon humanity. People are forcibly pulled into its world while they sleep, with no escape. In this game, life itself is the only currency. Every death drains a portion of a person's lifespan, while slaying monsters replenishes it. Survival demands relentless combat, with no room for hesitation. But the game's influence does not remain confined to its realm. Players who master its rules can extract powerful skills and bring them into reality. The strongest can perform feats beyond imagination, shattering tanks, slicing through planes, and even enduring nuclear explosions with their bodies. The world fell into chaos, disasters spreading in the wake of the Forgotten Game of God. Through relentless struggle, Qin Feng and his sister survived countless hardships. Against all odds, he managed to rise, becoming one of the world's strongest. After overcoming endless dangers and pushing himself beyond his limits, he reached the pinnacle of power. Deep within the ruins of the ancient gods, he finally obtained the legendary artifact the Eye of Judgment. At last, he had the qualification to stand at the top. But just as he thought he had secured his place, betrayal struck. The one he had fought so hard to protect turned against him. In the end, the only reward for his sacrifices was the ultimate betrayal by those he loved most. Qin Feng lies beneath the rubble, bloodied and broken. He realizes that all his sacrifices, all his efforts, had only benefited others while leaving him discarded. But even in the face of death, he refuses to accept this fate. If given another chance, he swears he will no longer live for others. This time, he will live for himself. A shift in reality occurs. His consciousness fades, only to awaken in a familiar setting. As he opens his eyes, he finds himself back in bed. The city lights flicker outside his window. Confusion grips him. Could it be? Had he truly returned to the real world? Clutching his throat, expecting the pain of his wounds, but he is unharmed. He grabs his phone and stares in disbelief. The date reads 2025. He is alive. Sitting in silence, he stares out the window, processing what just happened. The city outside looks unchanged. He finally realizes the truth. He has been reborn. Sent back 9 years, to the very day the Forgotten Game of God first arrived. Before he can fully grasp the implications, a sudden force breaks his thoughts. The door bursts open with a powerful kick. As Qin Feng moves through his home, a voice interrupts him. Qin Xiaoyu barges in, demanding why he ignored her calls. On this very day, they had a major argument, one that changed everything. As expected, Xiaoyu is furious, defending her devotion to Song Fei and accusing Qin Feng of trying to keep her away. Before the game's arrival, Song Fei was a famous idol, and Xiaoyu was one of his most obsessive fans. She believed he was being wronged, viewing herself as his savior. However, beneath his charming facade, Song Fei was nothing more than a manipulative scoundrel, exploiting his fans for money and personal gain. Qin Feng had always tried to stop her from being deceived, but his efforts were in vain. Instead of gratitude, he was blamed for interfering in her life. Now, in this moment, she once again lashes out, blaming him for Song Fei's troubles and demanding money. Qin Feng, no longer willing to tolerate Qin Xiaoyu's arrogance, reacts with swift force. His strike sends her crashing to the ground. Xiaoyu, stunned and humiliated, clutches her face in disbelief. Tears well up in her eyes as she accuses him of hitting her. But Qin Feng warns her he has no interest in wasting his time arguing today. However, if she continues to provoke him, Qin Feng tosses a bundle of money to Qin Xiaoyu, making it clear that he has never relied on the wealth their parents left behind. Now, he's paying her back for everything, settling any debts between them. As he walks toward the door, he suppresses his anger for the sake of their late parents. However, he delivers a final warning: things will never be the same again. Turning back one last time, he declares that from this moment forward, she is no longer his sister. Qin Xiaoyu, still on the floor, watches him leave. Tears stream down her face. Qin Feng reflects on his past life, realizing how much he lost by dedicating himself to protecting Qin Xiaoyu. His obsession with her safety held him back from countless opportunities, hidden treasures, secret locations, and powerful adventures he abandoned. Now, things are different. He holds the sleeping pills in his hand, but this time, he sees his rebirth as a second chance. Without the burden of his past attachments, he wonders just how far he can go. Determined, he drinks the water, solidifying his resolve. This time, he will use his knowledge of the forgotten game of God to get ahead of everyone else. Qin Xiaoyu is no longer his responsibility. If she wants to survive, she will have to prove her own worth. Dark energy surrounds Qin Feng as he solidifies his final goal: Song Fei will die by his hands. No longer bound by his past mistakes, he will carve his own path and ensure his revenge. Stepping into a portal bathed in blue flames, he enters the Grand Hall of Profession Selection. The sight brings back memories of his first time here, where hesitation cost him valuable time. This time, he will not waste a single moment. In his past life, he chose the warrior class to protect Qin Xiaoyu. Though powerful, it slowed his growth and held him back. Now, with no burdens to weigh him down, he intends to select a class that will allow him to level up at an unprecedented speed. Qin Feng knows that speed and flexibility are the keys to survival. Unlike before, when he chose brute strength, this time, he prioritizes mobility. With determination, he makes his decision: he will become an assassin. A class built for swift, deadly precision. As he reaches out, blue energy surges, solidifying his choice. But before he can fully process his new path, a notification appears. The artifact, the Eye of Judgment, has already been bound to him. Suddenly, immense power erupts from within. The Eye of Judgment activates, revealing its true ability. A passive trait grants him the highest quality profession and talents upon entering the game abandoned by the gods. Qin Feng clenches his fist, feeling the surge of strength. This time, he won't just survive, he will dominate. Qin Feng realizes the Eye of Judgment has truly acknowledged him as its master. Unlike ordinary artifacts, once bound, it cannot be stolen or used by anyone else. Perhaps, it even played a role in his rebirth. Before he can process this further, dark tendrils burst forth, wrapping around him. A system notification appears: he has unlocked a hidden profession. The shadows consume his form, initiating a complete class transfer. The transformation is complete. A new path, far more powerful than he ever imagined, is now his to walk. The system announces his new identity: he has become the Shadow. Unlike the warrior class he once wielded, this is no ordinary profession. It is the highest tier hidden assassin class, granting him immense power the moment he obtains it. He recalls that hidden professions are only unlocked through sheer luck. Yet, the Eye of Judgment ensured he obtained the strongest one possible. Qin Feng's eyes gleam with realization. The artifact's authority doesn't just enhance his power, it bends fate itself. Just what kind of force is he wielding now? The system informs him that he has acquired the Authority of Judgment, a primordial power that transcends rules and order. However, without divinity, he cannot fully control it, only its passive effect is active for now. Shocked, he realizes this authority has the ability to nullify all established laws. Reflecting on his past life, Qin Feng recalls how the power of order was first discovered in the 7th year of the game abandoned by the gods. A powerful individual had escaped from the Forsaken Earth and arrived at the Land of Order, revealing its existence. However, despite the passing years, no one had managed to obtain it. Now, he understands that he has possessed a power even greater from the very beginning, the original authority that overrides all rules and order. His next goal becomes clear: escape the Earth abandoned by the gods, reach the Land of Order, and obtain divinity. Once he achieves this, he will be able to unleash the full potential of his authority. As the system finalizes his profession selection, a holographic screen appears before him, asking for his game code. Qin Feng finalizes his game identity, choosing a name that reflects his hidden strength, Shadow. The system confirms his code name, marking the beginning of his journey in the Forsaken World. He descends into the Earth abandoned by the gods, a ruined land overrun by dangerous monsters. The system warns him that these creatures are relentless, capable of ending his life at any moment. However, there is a way to survive by venturing outside the town and slaying monsters. He can gain tradable life. Yet, death comes at a cost. If he falls in battle, half of his life will be deducted, whether tradable or not. Fortunately, he arrives in Shell Town, a designated peace zone where players are safe from attacks, and the life loss rate remains stable. As he walks through the town, he notices confused players trying to make sense of their situation. Some struggle to accept reality, questioning if they were forcibly dragged into the game. Others recount mundane moments before their sudden arrival, highlighting the mysterious nature of their predicament. He knows that powerful figures from various nations will soon emerge, shaping the future of this world. If he wants to stay ahead, he must act swiftly. Time waits for no one. The townspeople eye him with curiosity, noticing the dagger in his hand. Some wonder if he is an assassin, while others compare his abilities to their own, questioning why he seems far more advanced. Suddenly, a shift in energy catches Qin Feng's attention. A bright light flashes, and several players reappear on the town's teleportation circle, groaning in pain. They realize that dying in battle sends them back to town, reinforcing the game's brutal mechanics. Meanwhile, in another part of the town, panic spreads. A group of players struggles to defeat a seemingly weak monster, only managing to reduce a fraction of its health. The realization dawns on them: one bite from the creature had drained half of their life. Fear grips them as they question how anyone is supposed to survive in this unforgiving world. Among them, a girl named Lizzie appears frustrated, while her teammates anxiously seek her guidance on their next move. Noticing Lizzie's weapon, Qin Feng quickly analyzes that she possesses a longbow, an unusual choice for archers, whose standard equipment is typically a short bow. This suggests she has a hidden profession, making her potentially more powerful than an average player. Lizzie approaches Qin Feng, recognizing his strength. She proposes forming a party, explaining that the monsters outside are too strong to fight alone. She and her team had already been wiped out once, giving them some experience in the game's brutal mechanics. Qin Feng, however, declines without hesitation, uninterested in working with others. Her team is taken aback by his response. They struggle to understand how he plans to survive alone when even their full party was overwhelmed. While some mock him for acting superior, others acknowledge his hidden profession and assassin-like abilities, suggesting that even if he can't win, he can at least escape. Lizzie examines Qin Feng's codename, scoffing at his choice of Shadow, finding it overly dramatic. Despite her mockery, she can't ignore the fact that he carries himself differently from the other players. As Qin Feng silently walks out of town towards the dangerous lands beyond, Lizzie quickly strategizes. She decides to follow him, convinced that observing his combat style could provide useful information about the monsters outside. Her team hesitates but ultimately agrees, seeing an opportunity to gather intelligence without putting themselves at risk. Rather than hoping for his success, she eagerly anticipates his downfall. Lizzie remains confident in her skills as a veteran gamer. She doesn't know why she was brought into this game, but she has already taken control of the situation by forming a team. However, their curiosity soon turns into dread. The first monster they encounter in the newbie area is nothing like what they had anticipated. A terrifying creature appears, exuding an ominous aura. The team quickly realizes that this is no ordinary enemy, it is something far beyond what a level 1 player should be able to handle. Lizzie's team watches as Qin Feng engages, analyzing his every move. They are stunned by his speed and combat style, realizing he is far superior to them. Lizzie, who initially followed him to witness his downfall, now begins to think differently. Qin Feng already sensed their intentions but remains focused on the battle ahead. Lizzie and her group continue to track Qin Feng. However, as he moves forward, his sharp instincts alert him to their presence. Lizzie feels a chill run down her spine. Did he just notice them? Before they can react, Qin Feng activates his ability. In an instant, his body distorts, shrouded in an aura of darkness. Was it a stealth skill? Could it be his profession's unique ability? The realization hits them: his class is unlike anything they've ever seen before. Seeing the dangers ahead, the group reconsiders their choices. Having already died once, their lifespans have been cut in half. They decide to return to town and explore safer options, hoping to level up or find hidden rewards instead of facing uncertain death. Meanwhile, Qin Feng, now fully hidden, observes them from the shadows. Qin Feng remains hidden in the darkness, activating his unique class abilities. His stealth far surpasses that of ordinary assassins, making him undetectable even at this low level. The latent image skill allows him to become invisible before striking, significantly increasing his attack power when he breaks stealth. Additionally, invisibility mastery extends his duration and further enhances his stealth level. He observes the players who retreated to the starting town, calling them naive. They assume staying there will provide an advantage, but in reality, the town offers no power boosts, only temporary safety. In this brutal game, the weak are nothing more than prey for monsters. However, his invisibility doesn't last long. It fades, but thanks to its quick cooldown, he can activate it again soon. This gives him a massive advantage, allowing him to strike and disappear before enemies can react. Checking his stats, he confirms the remarkable benefits of his shadow profession. Unlike his past life as a warrior, where he only received minor attribute boosts, this time he has gained an astonishing +8 to agility, making him exceptionally fast and dangerous. Qin Feng examines his status screen, noting that he has 5 extra attribute points to allocate. Unlike most players who instinctively invest in strength or spirit for better attack power, he understands that this approach is flawed. Without hesitation, he assigns all of his points to agility, pushing his speed and reaction time even further beyond normal limits. His reasoning is simple: no matter how high a player's stats are, the damage from monsters will always be overwhelming at this stage. The only way to survive is to be fast enough to avoid attacks entirely. As the energy from his new stats surges through him, his body feels lighter, more responsive. He can now strike and evade with unprecedented speed, making it nearly impossible for enemies to land a hit. This is the key to dominating in the early game: speed over power. Suddenly, a low growl echoes from the darkness. Qin Feng's sharp eyes narrow. Something is lurking nearby, watching him. A monster shriek echoes through the forest as a figure emerges from the shadows. Its glowing red eyes pierce through the darkness. This is a creeper, a level 1 monster, but its aura suggests something far more dangerous. Qin Feng narrows his eyes, instantly recognizing the creature. This is the same monster that wiped out a 4-man team earlier, devouring their life force. Despite being a low-level creature, as he carefully observes, he notices fresh wounds on its body. The previous group managed to inflict some damage before they were killed. Qin Feng moves swiftly, dodging as the creeper lunges at him. He knows that when a monster kills a player, it absorbs their lifespan, growing stronger with each kill. This particular creeper has already devoured several players, making it far more powerful than an average level 1 creature. Without hesitation, he activates his abilities. His body crackles with dark energy as he vanishes, becoming nothing but a blur in the rain. Qin Feng watches, waiting for the perfect moment. The creeper snarls, crouching low in preparation for another attack. But it's already too late. This is his advantage: absolute speed and invisibility. As Qin Feng hovers in the air, concealed by his stealth, the monster creeper looks around in confusion. Without hesitation, he strikes. Breaking out of stealth, he descends with incredible force, his blade tearing through the monster's weak spot. The impact is devastating, and the system instantly confirms his kill. The damage numbers shock even him: 174 points in a single blow. His attack had triggered multiple skills, including backstab, which doubled the damage since the enemy hadn't detected him. The synergy between his abilities makes his offensive power terrifying. As the creeper's body disintegrates, Qin Feng remains silent, analyzing the outcome. Qin Feng recalls his past experiences, remembering how, as a warrior, even a critical hit would barely deal 40 damage. Killing a single creeper had been an exhausting battle, leaving him battered and struggling for survival. But now, with his new class, things were completely different. As the creeper's body disintegrates, golden energy rises from its remains, the life force it had absorbed from the players it killed. A memory flashes before him of other players desperately clinging to their stolen lifespans, struggling to survive in this brutal world. Reaching out, Qin Feng grasps the energy. The system immediately confirms his gain 3 days of transferable life and a staggering 54 years of non-transferable life. This was the reality of this game. Life itself was a resource, and the strong took from the weak. Clenching his fist, he silently acknowledges his advantage. Unlike before, he would not struggle to survive, he would dominate. Qin Feng calculates the life lost by the defeated players. Each had sacrificed decades, adding up to over 100 years. Yet, when he absorbed the lifespan from the creeper, only 54 years transferred to him. This confirms an important rule: lifespan isn't fully recoverable once taken, making it a finite resource in this game. Just as he processes this realization, a sudden burst of energy surrounds him. The authority of judgment activates, unlocking a hidden talent: infinite evolution. A notification explains its effects. When Qin Feng kills monsters in solo mode, he has a chance to earn evolution points, which can be used to upgrade skills beyond their original limits. Unlike anything he had encountered in his past life, this ability defies the game's natural laws. He receives 5 evolution points automatically and learns that defeating a boss in solo combat will grant him even more. This discovery sparks a new idea: if his skills can evolve indefinitely, he can become far stronger than anyone else. Without hesitation, he decides to test it. Focusing on his status screen, he selects his shadow ability and backstab for an upgrade. If this truly works, he will possess a power that transcends rules and order. Qin Feng successfully upgrades his skills, consuming 4 evolution points in the process. His shadow ability advances from normal to bronze, increasing stealth duration from 12 to 16 seconds while boosting his attack power when breaking invisibility. Meanwhile, backstab enhances from poor to normal, raising its damage boost from 10% to 15%. Realizing the impact of these changes, he assesses his newfound advantage. With his invisibility mastery, his stealth duration doubles to 32 seconds, effectively allowing him near infinite invisibility. If he had possessed this skill earlier, even a full health creeper would have fallen instantly. As he moves forward, he overhears other players reacting to his performance. They are astonished that someone as unassuming as him was able to take down a monster alone. Some assume the game must be easy, while others eagerly hype up their own abilities, boasting that they could slay multiple monsters with their builds. Qin Feng senses as he notices movement nearby. Meanwhile, the boastful players remain oblivious to the danger lurking above. A monstrous figure with glowing red eyes watches them from the trees, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Unaware of the impending attack, one of the players arrogantly offers to watch over Qin Feng, mocking his solitude. Instead of engaging with them, Qin Feng activates his stealth ability. His figure dissolves into the darkness, leaving behind only traces of eerie blue energy. The clueless players laugh, assuming he was intimidated, and ran away. They remain completely unaware of the lurking predator that is about to descend upon them. A massive spider with glowing red eyes descended from the tree above. The warrior recoiled, his face filled with horror, barely managing to process what he was seeing. A system prompt identified the creature as a nurse, a level 11 boss of bronze rarity. Smaller spiders, categorized as nurse baby spider, also level 11 but common in rarity, crawled around it, reinforcing the danger of the situation. Qin Feng, hidden in the shadows, observed from a distance, noting that the nurse had around 1600 GP. It was far too powerful for new players to handle, especially with its swarm of minions under its command. This was not a fight they could win easily. Qin Feng stood firm as blue energy crackled around him. Rather than backing down from the towering spider boss, he welcomed the challenge. This was the perfect opportunity to test his newly upgraded skills. With a swift motion, he unleashed a powerful strike, targeting the monster's core. The attack shattered its invisibility, forcing it into a vulnerable state. The impact sent a surge of energy through the air, cutting deep into the spider's body. The nurse let out a sharp, agonized cry as dark purple blood splattered from its wound. But Qin Feng wasn't done yet. His body flickered, leaving behind an afterimage, a technique known as latent image. Qin Feng's attack struck the nurse directly at its weak point, dealing significant damage. The monster let out a piercing shriek as dark purple blood oozed from the wound. The system displayed a notification: 338 points of damage inflicted. Despite his success, Qin Feng knew he wasn't invincible. With only 130 GP, a single mistake could be fatal. Luckily, his agility allowed him to evade major hits, though he still took minor damage, just 9 points. He found the thrill of combat exhilarating, especially after landing such a powerful strike. However, the nurse wasn't going to stay on the defensive. It moved aggressively, lashing out in retaliation. Its intelligence was evident; it wouldn't simply stand there and take hits. Qin Feng watched closely, knowing the real battle had just begun. Qin Feng observed the nurse's erratic movements, realizing it attacked indiscriminately while its smaller minions stayed on guard. Rushing in recklessly wasn't an option. However, he had a strategy in mind. Moving swiftly, he launched an attack at the monster's exposed back. The strike landed precisely on its weak point, sending a powerful shockwave through its body. The system registered another successful hit, 299 points of damage inflicted. The impact caused the monster to reel in pain. Qin Feng, however, reached for something in his hand, a new tactic forming in his mind. Qin Feng assessed his options. His primary damage output came from breaking invisibility and his enhanced skills. Even something as simple as throwing a stone could deal substantial damage if executed correctly. Waiting for latent shadow to finish its cooldown, he prepared his move. The moment it was ready, he launched the stone with precision, knowing it would trigger multiple special effects: breaking invisibility, a one-hit attack, backstab, and weak point strike. The impact was devastating. The system registered 279 damage, another successful weak point hit. The nurse shrieked in agony as dark blood splattered from the wound. Without hesitation, Qin Feng activated Hide again, blending into the shadows. As soon as his stealth cooldown ended, Qin Feng wasted no time. Blue energy surged around him as he launched another decisive strike at the nurse, aiming to finish it off. A loud system notification echoed across the game world leaderboard update. In Shell Village, players were stunned as the rankings refreshed. The first player to reach level 2 was revealed. Shadow Qin Feng's in-game alias. Whispers and shock spread among the players. Defeating the bronze rank boss alone was an impossible feat for most. Many had struggled, dying multiple times to its relentless attacks. Now, Qin Feng's solo victory had drawn attention. Some players were in disbelief, questioning how someone could level up so quickly on their own. Others immediately wanted to find him, eager to learn more about the mysterious player who had just made history. News of Qin Feng's solo boss kill spread quickly, leaving players in shock. Many struggled to believe it. How could one person defeat a bronze-ranked monster when even teams had trouble fighting regular enemies? Some suspected a system error, while others dismissed it as impossible. Meanwhile, the two players who had encountered the nurse earlier realized the invisible assassin was likely responsible. But despite their curiosity, the immediate threat remained. The smaller spiders were still alive, scattering into the forest. A system message confirmed Qin Feng's victory. He earned 300 experience points, 2 evolution points, and 1 reputation point. His name was now displayed on the village leaderboard for everyone to see. However, he realized a mistake. Killing the boss first meant losing out on extra experience from the smaller enemies. Among his loot, one item stood out: a skill book, Hand of Avarice Bronze. This assassin ability allowed him to extract extra loot from monster corpses. It was an unexpected reward, one that could significantly boost his earnings in future battles. Qin Feng glanced at the skill book in his hands. Who would have thought that defeating a bronze-ranked boss would unlock such a rare ability? Qin Feng analyzed the Hand of Avarice skill, recognizing its value. With a 20% chance to acquire extra loot, it could be a game-changer for equipment upgrades and resource accumulation. He recalled a player from his past life, someone with average strength who had risen to fame solely due to this ability. However, his infinite evolution talent gave him an edge. If this skill worked in combination with his unique talent, the drop rate and loot quality could skyrocket. The potential was limitless. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to the real world. Students walked through the school campus, chatting about their daily lives. Among them, Xiaoyu, frustrated, refused to apologize to her brother. She believed he was the reason they missed an important entry test, not the other way around. Her friend urged her to reconsider, reminding her that they had skipped an exam to support Song Fei. If her brother was upset, It was understandable. But Xiaoyu was firm. She saw no reason to back down. As Xiaoyu and her friend continued walking, the conversation shifted to her family. Her friend admired how well her brother treated her, but Xiaoyu quickly shut down the idea. He wasn't her real brother. She only acknowledged Song Fei as her family, making it clear she didn't want to discuss it further. When asked about the bandage on her face, Xiaoyu hesitated for a moment before brushing it off, saying she had simply fallen. Meanwhile, at school, something unusual was happening. A large crowd had gathered around a classroom, murmuring with curiosity and concern. Xiaoyu's friend noticed the commotion and pushed through to see what was going on. Inside, they found a student collapsed over his desk, completely unresponsive. Panic spread through the classroom as Zhang Wei's body began turning translucent, shocking his classmates. No one knew what was happening. Just moments ago, he had mentioned feeling sleepy, and now he was fading away. News of this strange phenomenon was already circulating online. Reports showed that people around the world were experiencing the same thing, falling asleep and entering an illusory, translucent state with no known cause. Meanwhile, Xiaoyu's friend insisted that she call her brother to warn him, but she refused. Her resentment ran deep. She wanted nothing to do with him. In her eyes, he would be better off dead. Back in the game world, Qin Feng's Hand of Avarice skill successfully evolved from bronze to gold, dramatically increasing his loot drop rate from 20% to 70%. Power surged through him as he unlocked the Hand of Avarice +2, further strengthening his assassin abilities. Qin Feng's Hand of Avarice skill activated successfully, rewarding him with 2 evolution points and 46 transferable days of life. Feeling lucky, he realized he only needed 1 more point to upgrade the skill further. If he reached Hand of Avarice +3, he could achieve 100% extra loot. Equipping himself with the corroded dagger bronze, he noted its significant attack boost and agility enhancement, preparing for the challenges ahead. However, time was of the essence. He predicted that as more people discovered the game's secrets, chaos would erupt in reality. His ultimate goal became clear: reach level 10 and accumulate enough tradable life to extract skills and gear into reality. But killing normal monsters was too slow. He needed to target stronger bosses to advance quickly. As Qin Feng moved through the forest, a sudden shout broke the silence. Someone was in danger. From atop a cliff, he spotted a group of players under attack. Below him, a terrifying level 2 bronze-grade monster, a runner, lunged at its target with razor-sharp teeth. Fireballs streaked through the air as players desperately tried to fend it off. Qin Feng's lips curled into a smirk. A perfect opportunity had just presented itself. Qin Feng's eyes narrowed as he recognized Wang Meng, a well-known player rumored to have formed a team of 6 hidden class users in the game's early days. Wang Meng raised his shield and activated Holy Barrier, enveloping himself in a golden aura. His Sacred Shield warrior profession was far superior to standard warriors, boasting twice the base attributes and an invincible skill. A nearby mage raised her staff, summoning a fiery spell. The mage spell struck the runner, dealing significant damage. Unlike ordinary mages, this prophet-class spellcaster had double the attack power and wielded a special prophetic fireball ability. From the sidelines, Qin Feng observed the battle unfold. Each of Wang Meng's team members had a hidden profession, making them far stronger than average players. The sharp-eyed archer had twice the stats of regular archers and could fire continuous arrows. The Oracle Priest could heal an entire team at once and had double the healing power of a normal priest. With a coordinated assault, the team bombarded the runner with fire, arrows, and holy defenses, overwhelming the monster. Despite their combined efforts, the runner was too fast, dodging attacks and retaliating fiercely. Wang Meng, relying on his Sacred Shield warrior defenses, took a direct hit but managed to withstand it. The Oracle Priest quickly healed him, keeping him in the fight. However, the archer and healer struggled. Their long-range attacks weren't landing effectively. Wang Meng remained confident, believing they could wear the boss down with sustained attacks, while the healer kept him alive. Qin Feng watched with amusement. Their strategy was straightforward: survive, attack, and slowly chip away at the boss's HP. Qin Feng notes the risk: more monsters are drawn by the noise. Just as expected, 2 contaminators appear behind Wang Meng. Qin Feng identifies them immediately: level 2 monsters called contaminators, known for their dark mud-covered bodies and long-range attacks. One of the players notices the incoming threat and warns Wang Meng, rushing forward to intercept the attack. Without delay, the player strikes back at the monsters. His swift and aggressive attack surprises even Qin Feng, who silently observes. One of the players strikes a contaminator, but the damage is minimal. Its defense proves to be far higher than expected. As the monster retaliates, its body lunges forward, dripping with sludge. Nearby, 2 more players get caught in the monster's mud-based attack. The thick filth clings to their bodies, releasing a foul stench. One struggles to move, realizing their speed has dropped, and they're stuck to the ground. Another mage is caught off guard. A contaminator closes in from behind, and she panics, calling for help as the monster prepares to strike. Just as the mage is about to be attacked, a powerful strike lands on the contaminator, instantly dealing massive damage. The monster collapses before it can land a hit. Nearby players turn in shock, unable to believe what they've just seen. The monster was taken down in a single blow. One player questions if someone outside their group is helping. A contaminator that normally takes several players over 10 seconds to bring down had just been wiped out in an instant. Another contaminator is taken down with a devastating hit. The players are stunned. This was clearly another one-shot kill. Wang Meng asks if anyone saw who did it, but no one knows. Still, he urges the team to stay focused and keep pushing. With only one monster left, the remaining players press the attack. Meanwhile, Qin Feng quietly collects the rewards experience points, an evolution point, and a rare skill book, Poison Dart. He reviews the new ability. It's an assassin skill that deals continuous poison damage from a distance. Satisfied with its power, he immediately evolves it to the silver level. While the others focus on the last enemy, Wang Meng is suddenly ambushed. A red creature pierces through his armor, dealing a critical blow. The attack lifts him off the ground, and he lets out a cry of pain as blood pours from the wound. His teammates react in panic. One of them calls out to him, while another quickly attempts a healing spell, but it's too late. The damage is too severe, and the spell fails to restore his health. Barely conscious, Wang Meng gives a final warning, urging the others to escape quickly. A high-speed projectile strikes the red monster in the head, dealing massive damage. The force of the hit shocks the nearby players as they witness its health drop drastically in an instant. Despite the hit, the creature isn't down. It roars in rage, green fluid gushing from its wounds, and launches another violent attack. The monster screams, more enraged than ever, its body leaking and trembling with fury. The monster collapses, taking heavy continuous damage from the Poison Dart skill. Qin Feng receives the full rewards for the kill experience points, evolution points, and over 50 days of life. The damage from his Poison Dart exceeded 90%, securing him the loot. He's impressed that the skill's damage even affects class progression. With stealth and ranged poison attacks, he's confident that no early or mid-stage enemy can match him now. Meanwhile, Wang Meng sits wounded beside the fallen monster. As the loot orb appears, he's shocked by the pain he's enduring. Just as he reaches for the reward, it vanishes before his eyes, taken by someone else. Wang Meng clasps his hands and thanks the mysterious helper, though he doesn't know who it is. A voice responds, warning him not to trust people too easily in the wild. Wang Meng respectfully backs off and introduces himself. He offers future help if ever needed. Another player excitedly tries to add the mysterious helper as a friend, but they're urged to leave quickly. Hidden in the shadows, Qin Feng watches quietly. He acknowledges that Wang Meng seems dependable. With the man's official ties and wealth, Qin Feng considers using him later as a trusted sales channel for unwanted loot. Qin Feng activates the Hand of Avarice, instantly claiming loot and evolution points. He equips a new assassin gear piece, running leather leggings boosting his defense, elemental resistance, and cooldown speed. Satisfied with his haul, he notes that this wave has yielded plenty of equipment for various classes. Once his backpack is full, he plans to return to town and trade gear for extra life. His growth rate is now far beyond what it was in his previous life. The battlefield remains chaotic, with other players still struggling against the ongoing monster threat. Suddenly, more monsters flood in, overwhelming the players. One of them shouts for everyone to retreat as the horde closes in. Some players freeze up in shock. A teammate yells at them to move, but it's already too late for hesitation. Then, a massive presence descends. A towering, otherworldly creature materializes before the players. Without warning, the creature unleashes a powerful energy surge, signaling that this battle is far from over. The creature releases a devastating barrage of attacks. purple energy blasts rip through the players, taking several down instantly. In a flash, the survivors are transported back to the city's safe zone. One of the players vents his frustration: monsters always retreat at low health, making kills hard to secure. Another reminds him that they need to reach level 3 to escape this world, but that goal feels impossibly distant. Some suggest expanding their team size for better survival chances, but another player quickly shoots down the idea. Even larger groups have been wiped out by monster hordes. Numbers alone won't guarantee survival. One of the players warns that forming large teams isn't the solution either. A group of 40 once attracted a powerful entity called the Damned, which wiped out over 30 players in a single attack. Panic begins to spread. If they can't reach level 3, they'll remain trapped in the game forever. Since they entered by falling asleep, only their consciousness is present. If they don't escape in time, their real bodies will die from starvation. Another group reflects on how hard the game truly is. They've already died multiple times and have lost a significant portion of their tradable life. For them, failure is no longer an option. They can't afford to die again. Suddenly, attention shifts to the rankings. At the top is a mysterious player named Shadow, already at level 3 while others still struggle at level 1. The players are stunned at how fast he's progressing compared to everyone else. One player suspects that the mysterious Shadow must know a special method to level up quickly. She urges the others to find a way to connect with him. He might be their only hope of reaching level 3 and escaping the game. She even promises a reward if Shadow can help them level up. She'll give him 10 million in cash once they return to the real world. The others are shocked, but the offer is too big to ignore. Meanwhile, Qin Feng continues clearing monsters in the forest. He eliminates another contaminator and gains experience and an evolution point. With that, he finally has enough to unlock his next upgrade. Qin Feng uses his newly gathered evolution points to upgrade his skill Hand of Avarice, evolving it from Platinum to Jade. The skill now grants a significantly higher chance of extra loot from monster corpses, along with a rare chance to boost the loot's rarity. He's amazed by its potential. If this progression continues, he wonders if it could eventually guarantee rare drops every time. Suddenly, he hears heavy footsteps in the distance. Emerging through the rain is a towering cloaked in darkness. Qin Feng confirms the monster's identity. It's the Damned, a bronze-level boss. But something's different. It's absorbing life force and showing signs of evolving into a silver-level threat. It must have devoured dozens of players to grow this strong. Despite spotting a rare opportunity, Qin Feng realizes his backpack is completely full. If he fights the boss now, he won't be able to collect any loot. Instead, he marks the location on his map for later. He plans to return once the boss finishes leveling. For now, he'll head back to town, empty his inventory. News about the mysterious player Shadow starts to spread rapidly in town. People are stunned to hear that someone offered 10 million just to be leveled up by him. Frustrated players question why only the rich can afford to escape while everyone else keeps losing life. Just then, Qin Feng returns to the city. His sudden appearance turns heads. Without a word, he opens his system panel and begins to sell gear. A message flashes in the air: a limited time equipment and skills sale, only open for 10 minutes. A sudden appearance in the market stuns the players. They're shocked to see someone carrying multiple sets of bronze gear and still offering more for sale. Whispers spread fast. This mysterious player is named Shadow, known for taking down a bronze-level boss and holding the top spot on the leaderboard. Confused about why his face isn't visible, players soon realize he's using the hide face function, which keeps his in-game appearance identical to real life, adding to the mystery. A female mage steps forward, inquiring about a spell's price. Qin Feng responds with a price: 100 days of tradable life. He silently identifies the woman as Grey Rose, currently ranked 11th in Shell Village, another user of the same hide face feature. Grey Rose tries to negotiate the price, saying 100 days is too much. Qin Feng stays firm, explaining that the Ice Cone spell greatly boosts monster kill speed for mages, making the price fair. She then asks if real-world money can be used. Qin Feng tells her she can buy tradable life from others and deal with him afterward. If no one outbids her, he'll hold the item for her. After thinking for a moment, she consults her teammates. They all agree thanks to her leadership and Qin Feng's help. They've leveled up quickly. With the spell, they can progress even faster. The team decides to transfer their tradable life to her. and she promises to pay them once they return to reality. Grey Rose completes the deal, trading 100 days of life for the Ice Cone spell. Qin Feng estimates their team has hunted enough monsters to easily cover that amount. The trade is confirmed. His tradable life increases by 100 days. Suddenly, Lizzie approaches and calls out to him by his in-game name, Shadow. She surprises everyone by offering him a deal, help her reach level 3, and in return, she'll pay 10 million in real cash after they exit the game. The surrounding players are shocked. Word spreads fast. Someone just offered Shadow 10 million, and it wasn't a rumor. Everyone around is left in disbelief at how easily he just earned that much. Qin Feng recognizes the woman Zhang Lai. In his past life, she led a criminal gang that was eventually destroyed by the authorities. Now, she flaunts her family background, claiming her father runs Dajong Industries and vouches for her wealth. But Qin Feng isn't interested. He recalls rumors of her using money to manipulate players, kidnapping others, and even murdering those who disobeyed her in real life. Disgusted, he rejects her offer without hesitation. Zhang Lai tries to persuade him again, offering luxury and power in return for his cooperation. Qin Feng stating that in this world, only tradable life has value. Cash means nothing. Angered by the rejection, Zhang Lai insults him and threatens that if they were in the real world, she wouldn't hold back. Qin Feng's eyes glows as he gives a warning: if Zhang Lai says one more word, he'll kill her until her life hits 0. Overwhelms everyone nearby, instantly silencing the group. Frightened, Zhang Lai and her team quickly retreat without another word. Later, Qin Feng completes another trade, selling a bronze tunic for 19 more days of tradable life. With the deal done, he closes his stall. One of the buyers celebrates, feeling stronger after the purchase. Unbeknownst to everyone, tradable life holds a hidden power. It can extract in-game skills into reality. No one realizes that this very game will soon disrupt the balance of the real world. Qin Feng activates a stealth skill, disappearing before the crowd. Onlookers are left stunned, questioning his profession and strength. Meanwhile, Zhang Lai and her group retreat, still catching their breath. Furious, she vents her anger. Not only did Shadow reject her offer, he also threatened her. She vows to find him in the real world and kill him. A player greets her casually. He introduces himself as Mao Lijun, also known as Lao Mao, and offers to help her level up in exchange for the millions she had previously promised to Qin Feng. Curious, Zhang Lai questions his method. Lao Mao hints he has a trick not many know, but he's willing to share it with her out of respect. He explains that the key is to allocate all initial attribute points to agility. By doing this, their speed slightly surpasses that of the trackers, giving them a vital advantage for survival and faster leveling. Zhang Lai is surprised to learn the game mechanics favor agility over strength in early stages. Frustrated that she already used her points on strength, she quickly accepts Mao Lijun's offer, acknowledging his understanding of the system. Still desperate to level up fast, she offers 5 million to another player, asking him to take her to level 3. He agrees without hesitation. Despite not being as strong as Qin Feng, he sees no reason to turn down the money and mocks Qin Feng's earlier refusal. Meanwhile, Qin Feng is already back in the wild, swiftly moving through the forest. Qin Feng locates a powerful boss monster that's already advanced to silver rank. Surrounded by gray fog, the boss continues to grow stronger with time. Observing its progression, Qin Feng estimates it'll take several more hours to reach gold. Not wanting to wait, he readies his weapon and initiates the attack. He launches a poison dart, followed immediately by a stealth-enhanced strike, dealing a massive critical blow. The boss recoils in pain as poison damage continues to drain its health. Qin Feng activates another skill, latent image, enhancing his movements with explosive speed and precision. Despite the boss being a silver rank, with much higher health than a bronze, he shows no hesitation. The boss begins to power up, summoning a large energy orb above its head, surrounded by violent purple lightning. He understands the mechanics well. 2 or 3 well-placed poison darts are all it takes. He strikes again, launching the final sequence of attacks. The boss, heavily damaged, retaliates with powerful magic-based area attacks. Qin Feng, knowing his low defense wouldn't survive a direct hit, retreats immediately after launching his poison darts. He narrowly avoids the boss's barrage by staying just outside its range. With the enemy still on a rampage, he decides to wait. His key skill, Hidden Shadow, is still on cooldown. He plans to strike again during the boss's vulnerable moment, aiming for a precise finish. As the boss begins to stagger, Qin Feng prepares for the final strike. He knows he must immediately turn invisible again to avoid the next wave of attacks. With precision and timing, he launches forward. This is the chance he's been waiting for. His stealth strike lands a massive critical hit, followed by the ongoing poison damage tearing through the boss's remaining health. The monster lets out a final scream as the damage numbers stack up. The boss begins to retreat. Qin Feng watches calmly, recognizing its desperate attempt to escape. He sees no need to rush. The boss's surrender makes his job simpler. As the monster turns away, he delivers the final blow, swift, precise, and lethal. The attack pierces through, ending the fight in a single clean strike. After killing the silver-ranked boss, the Damned, Qin Feng gains a huge reward: 1800 experience points, 4 evolution points, and levels up twice. He also earns 124 days of tradable life. Activating his skill Hand of Avarice, he boosts his rewards even further. The skill triggers successfully, granting him double the evolution points and tradable life, totaling 12 evolution points and 372 days. As a bonus, the skill's passive effect kicks in, upgrading one of the loot drops from silver to gold. He notes that this Jade-level Hand of Avarice gives a 20% chance to enhance loot quality. Qin Feng sits down to sort through his loot. With only 10 backpack slots and several items dropped, he realizes he needs more storage if he's going to keep hunting bosses efficiently. As he checks the glowing loot, something catches his attention. It's not just a regular item. Meanwhile, in another part of the game, a red-haired girl responds and rejoices at being alive. She and her team return safely to the city, crediting Wang Meng for leading them to level 3 without any problems. One of the female players regrets not befriending a powerful player earlier. She assumes her messy appearance might have been the reason she was ignored. Hoping to change that, she decides to approach again, now wearing a clean new outfit. Suddenly, a system notification announces a leaderboard update. Qin Feng, under the name Shadow, is now ranked first, having reached level 5. Wang Meng follows in second place, with another warrior in third. The news shocks the nearby players. They're stunned by how quickly Shadow jumped from level 3 to 5. Suspecting he must have defeated a high-level boss or used advanced gear, some players start scheming, hoping to use family members to gain favor with the expert. But others quickly shut down the idea, pointing out how unlikely it is to impress someone moving at that pace. A separate group of players, just now hitting level 3, watches in disbelief. They realize the gap in strength is growing too fast, and they're worried if someone like Shadow will even give them a chance to survive. One of the players steps forward, telling the group to stop worrying about rankings for now. Their priority should be returning to reality and warning their loved ones about the game's dangerous situation. He explains that the real world may descend into chaos, so it's best to prepare their families while there's still time. The group agrees and decides to temporarily log out of the game. Back in the real world, Wang Meng wakes up in a medical facility. Still disoriented, he clutches his head as he regains consciousness. The people around him react immediately, rushing to notify their captain that Wang Meng has finally awakened. They question his condition, worried due to how he had just turned semi-transparent moments earlier. One of them insists Wang should have taken the day off and offers to handle his duties in the meantime. Wang quickly regains focus and calls for everyone to gather. He explains that something critical has happened and needs immediate attention. At the police station, another officer brings up Wang Meng's earlier report how his team of hidden professions was nearly wiped out until someone intervened. Wang confirms it. The one who saved them is known by the code name Shadow. At the time, Shadow was just level 3 like the rest of them, but shortly after the battle, he had already surged to level 5, skipping a full level in between. The officers are stunned by Shadow's rapid level jump. They speculate that he may have defeated a powerful boss and question whether this makes him the top player globally. One of them raises a new concern: if Shadow was already level 3 an hour ago, why hasn't he returned to reality like the others? They wonder if he has no family to inform. Wang Meng admits it's possible Shadow has no one. Another officer jokes, asking if Shadow could be a time traveler. That thought sparks more discussion. One officer points out how time travelers in stories are usually orphans who rise quickly. The female officer, Eniu, playfully insists her theory about Shadow being a time traveler might be true. Her lighthearted comment draws immediate criticism from her superior, who reminds her this is a serious situation and not fiction. The officer confirms that the information Wang Meng shared about the game, abandoned by God, aligns with their recent findings. New reports indicate that several elderly people have died shortly after falling asleep. After cross-referencing data from players who returned to the real world, the pattern became clear: those who died multiple times in the game had suffered real-world consequences. The conclusion is grim. If someone dies in the game, they also die in reality. The situation is declared a supernatural crisis beyond current understanding. Officials believe an unknown force may be invading through the game. In response, emergency orders are issued. Every region is tasked with forming teams to explore abandoned by God and gather information. A professional force must be built immediately. The issue is no longer local. Governments across the world are mobilizing, recognizing the global scale of the threat. Falling behind would mean losing critical strategic ground, so every nation is competing to uncover the truth. In this effort, NU is officially appointed as the leader of Team 1. She accepts the role without hesitation. Wang is appointed as the sub-leader of the team, working alongside NU to select members for the mission. Based on Wang's assessment, Shadow seems approachable. The leadership believes NU's temperament is best suited to investigate him. The mission is clear: uncover Shadow's true identity. NU is expected to represent the government, gain Shadow's trust, and secure the crucial information he holds. Meanwhile, the rest of the force is tasked with maintaining public order as this supernatural crisis unfolds. With everyone understanding their roles, the meeting is officially adjourned. As the sun sets, a group of girls discusses the game's mechanics. One of them shares that players in the same location who fall asleep at the same time appear together in the same starting town. Another girl grows anxious about her parents, worrying they won't adapt well since they've never played games before. One friend advises caution, suggesting they strengthen themselves first, then return to assist their families. Qin Feng's surprised he hasn't reached out. She suspects his pride is holding him back from apologizing. She recalls how he used to calm her whenever she was angry. But this time, instead of comforting her, he actually hit her, something not even her parents have done. The memory still leaves her furious. Still fuming, the girl recalls how her fight with Qin Feng began. She had only skipped class to attend Song Fei's concert. Yet Qin Feng hit her during the argument, something even her parents had never done. She swears she won't forgive him unless he apologizes 1,000 times. Despite her anger, she finds comfort in the memory of the concert. Seeing her idol Song Fei up close felt like a dream, and she's glad she didn't miss the opportunity, especially now, with the chaos surrounding the game abandoned by God. If not for that concert, she might have lost her only chance. She reminisces fondly about how close she had been to Song Fei. Tears stream down the girl's face as she confesses how much she misses Song Fei. Just as emotions overwhelm her, a realization strikes. She suddenly remembers the connection between sleep and the game world. If everyone who sleeps enters abandoned by God, then Song Fei must be inside too. Hope lights up her face. If she logs into the game, she might be able to find him there. Qin Xiaoyu, determined to catch up, decides to consult Zhang Wei, someone who leveled up quickly and is clearly experienced. Over a message, she politely asks him for advice. Zhang Wei is surprised by her approach and takes it as a rare opportunity. He feels smug about being approached by someone he sees as proud and unreachable. He advises her to invest all her initial attribute points into agility to avoid getting overwhelmed by monsters. When she asks if that applies to magic classes as well, he explains that agility also speeds up casting time, which is helpful early on. Despite his tips, Xiaoyu still worries whether she'll be strong enough even with the right setup. Zhang Wei reassures Xiaoyu that once someone in town reaches level 5, the teleportation portal will activate. He encourages her to team up and level up quickly, promising to come get her once the portal is open. Excited by the support, Xiaoyu confidently prepares to enter the game. She feels lucky to have someone ready to help and throws aside any lingering thoughts about Qin Feng, now determined to get ahead on her own. Meanwhile, inside the game, Qin Feng is alone in a dark forest, investigating glowing orbs on the ground. As he inspects them, he discovers a rare item, the Damned Ring Gold, which boosts all attributes by +8 and adds dark resistance and weak point damage. He realizes the ring grants him the same stats someone would earn from 3 full level ups, making it an extremely valuable early game item. Qin Feng discovers another valuable reward, Instant Cut Silver, an assassin class ability. It allows the user to dash up to 15 meters, turn invisible for 5 seconds, and deliver 3 powerful slashes to enemies along the path. While it doesn't inflict weak point damage, each hit is treated as a back attack and deals 100 fixed damage. Recognizing its strength as a high-impact area skill, he immediately learns it. With evolution points still remaining, Qin Feng upgrades one of his passive skills, Hand of Avarice, increasing his chance of receiving higher-tier loot from monsters. The upgraded version, now Jade to Diamond grade, further boosts his efficiency in farming resources. He confirms that each monster kill will now yield significantly more loot, and with the remaining points, he upgrades Instant Cut to Platinum tier, boosting the damage and slash count even further. Qin Feng reviews his newly enhanced skill, Instant Cut. Though the cooldown hasn't decreased as he hoped, its invisibility duration allows him to stay hidden almost continuously. He sifts through the rest of the loot, dismissing most of it as useless. One silver-grade warrior skill book, Battle Cry, seems decent and might be worth selling later. Suddenly, he senses movement. His expression sharpens as strange noises echo through the forest. Without warning, a group of red, monstrous creatures descends from above, surrounding him in an ambush. Qin Feng identifies the monsters as level 4 assembled crawlers. Seeing this as the perfect opportunity, he decides to test out his newly enhanced skill Instant Cut. With a burst of speed and precision, he vanishes into the shadows, slashing through the enemies in a blur of blue energy. Each strike lands cleanly, dealing heavy damage and tearing through the crawlers in a matter of seconds. After the swift execution, he observes the results. Compared to his previous poison dart method, Instant Cut is far more efficient, requiring fewer hits per kill and greatly reducing the risk of mistakes. He also reflects on the transferable life points. He's accumulated 618 days so far. However, bringing any item or skill from the game into reality would require at least 900 days, making it clear he still has a long way to go. He plans to return once more to sell the items in his backpack, confident that the transferable life he'll obtain will meet the minimum for extraction. He aims to reach level 10 so he can bring skills and gear from the game into the real world. After achieving level 3, he reminds the girl of her promise and asks if she'll honor it. The girl, accompanied by others, responds confidently, giving him her number and offering to buy his tradable life days for a high price, implying her powerful company wouldn't cheat him. A man praises the blonde businesswoman, mocking a previous ally called the Shadow Guy for underestimating her. He expresses excitement to meet again in the real world. He dismisses the danger of losing lifespan through the game, claiming it's easily recoverable, and proudly states that monetizing game skills is the true smart strategy. Meanwhile, Qin Feng activates a glowing blue portal in Shell Village. Qin Feng activates the Shell Village portal and gains a reputation point. He notes that teleportation between starter villages requires both ends to be activated, and he sets up an alert for Firefly Village, recalling that Song Fei once used it in his past life. However, he sees little strategic value in teleporting between starter zones. His real goal is to reach level 10 and enter the continent abandoned by the gods. Later, he returns to town, opening a short 10-minute sale for his skills and gear, drawing attention from nearby players who recognize him as the Master of Shadows. Excitement erupts among players as Qin Feng arrives, referred to as the Grandmaster, prompting one player to reveal he saved 150 life days just for this moment. Players remember how his last item boosted someone to second place in the rankings and hope for more powerful skills. A warrior snatches up the newly released War Cry skill book for 300 transferable life days, triggering discussion about its value. One player questions the high cost, but another explains that the book doubles efficiency, making it easy to recover the spent life days. Soon, other players eagerly shout to claim gear like magic robes and enchanted shoes. Qin Feng quickly sells out all his items, earning 650 life days and bringing his total to 2174. Despite the success, he knows it's still far from enough to extract everything from the game into reality. Players who missed out beg him to return and sell more. Just then, a girl approaches, offering a rare treasure. She presents a space ring with 12 storage slots that doesn't take up equipment space, surprising Qin Feng with its incredible utility and rarity. Qin Feng explains the value of the space ring: it doesn't consume storage slots and has a rare drop rate, making it highly prized. He recalls from his past life that such rings sold for over 3,600 life days. When asked how she wants to trade it, The girl surprisingly says she doesn't want payment, only to add him as a friend, and invites him to help defeat a boss. Qin Feng accepts, and her friend request is confirmed. She describes the boss as gold level, appearing on a boat in a swamp, too distant and obscured to clearly identify. Qin Feng suspects the rundown boat might be the rare golden ghost ship, a boss known for dropping valuable items and sparking intense competition due to its low spawn rate. Since it's appearing in a starter village, it's likely at its weakest form, making this a prime opportunity. He's surprised it's been found so early and that the girl, possibly tied to Wang Meng's team, obtained a rare storage ring from it. This stirs a memory, leading him to wonder if she's the same girl connected to the legendary golden carp he once heard about in his past life. Qin Feng asks how she found the golden boss, and she explains it was by chance while wandering after re-logging in alone. This reminds him of a rumor from his past life about someone in Wang Meng's team with the golden carp's luck always discovering rare things. He used to think it was just a myth, but now realizes it's true, and she's the one. Surprised, she asks why he's staring, and he brushes it off as nothing. While they walk off together, someone is watching them from the shadows. A boastful man gathers his group, reminiscing about his past leadership and promising riches. When he hears that Qin Feng left with a girl, he mocks him as a typical newbie and rallies his men to follow. Meanwhile, Qin Feng offers to help the girl's team in the boss fight under one condition: any drops usable by them, they can keep. The rest will be his. He justifies it by pointing out that without rewards, some team members would contribute nothing. She agrees but asks if he'd sell any extra gear to her teammates at a discount, revealing her kindness and loyalty. Qin Feng tells the girl they're heading straight to fight the gold-level boss. She's shocked, visibly panicked by the idea. She points out that he's an assassin with stealth skills, while she's a mage. She wouldn't stand a chance if things went wrong. Calmly, he assures her she won't need to fight and should just watch from safety. Her disbelief grows as she questions how he could take down a powerful boss alone, thinking even for someone like him. The girl is startled as Qin Feng suddenly vanishes into the shadows. Confused and worried, she calls out for him, not knowing where he went. Watching from afar, a gang of thugs assumes he abandoned her. The boss sneers, thinking she's now defenseless, and decides to move in on her, encouraging his men to follow, promising them rewards. Believing she's an easy target, they rush forward with malicious intent, mocking her vulnerability and praising their leader's cunning. Just as the thugs close in on the girl, Qin Feng, now cloaked in shadow, appears and launches a surprise assault. With precise strikes, he instantly eliminates several of them in a flash of blue energy. The system confirms he's earned 12 transactional life days from the kills. He mocks how weak they were, likening them to small monsters. Reappearing beside the girl, she demands to know where he vanished to. He calmly replies that he simply sent their followers back to the village. The girl jokes that she thought Qin Feng had gone to the bathroom, then humorously wonders how his invisibility works for such things, much to his silent annoyance. He quickly changes the subject, urging her to guide him to the boss. Meanwhile, in the game world, a new player, a girl in a purple robe, logs out into the game. She marvels at how realistic everything feels, especially the magical staff in her hands, while nearby players notice her arrival. She is thrilled to unlock the hidden class, Priestess of Life, hoping it will put her on par with Song Fei. However, she grows irritated thinking about Qin Feng, blaming him for being unreliable despite acting like a leader. She decides to move forward on her own, now confident with her new class and support from Zhang Wei. Later, she spots the leaderboard and is stunned to see Shadow, Qin Feng's alias, already at level 6, far ahead of others. Realizing how powerful he really is, she regrets siding with Zhang Wei and wonders where she can find Shadow to team up instead. Wang Meng is frustrated as he fails to contact a teammate named Oscillating with the Wind. The team urgently discusses their next step, knowing they can't proceed without a healer. One of them reminds the group that they aren't skilled enough to manage alone like top-tier players and insists they find a replacement. As they talk, a girl approaches and offers her help. She reveals that she's a Priestess of Life, a hidden class healer. Meanwhile, a ghostly ship appears in the water. Qin Feng recognizes it immediately. It's the Golden Grade Ghost ship. She told to stay hidden and avoid any surprise attacks. She agrees, leaving the boss fight to the expert. Qin Feng launches himself down at full force, activating his skill at the perfect moment. He notes that the ghost ship's presence has created a rage zone, accelerating time 100-fold. Although the area rapidly drains life energy, 15 minutes here equates to 1 full day. The ghost ship is confirmed to be a level 5 entity of gold grade. A spectral boss stands aboard, and a timer begins counting down. Only 45 minutes and 25 seconds remain. Qin Feng confirms that there's a limited time to defeat special bosses, but with 45 minutes remaining, he's confident it's more than enough. He activates Instant Shadow Slash, striking the boss multiple times and dealing heavy damage. The boss retaliates with Venom Dart, but Qin Feng swiftly dodges. Qin Feng lands a critical hit on the ship using Stealth Break Strike, targeting a specific point with precision. He reveals the key difficulty of this boss. Most players don't know its weakness. Damage appears, but not from hitting the skeleton, it's from striking a hidden part of the ship. He explains the real weakness isn't the skeleton or the ship's body, but the ghost fire bell at the tip. Once it's hit, the boss triggers a powerful response. The boss begins manipulating the surrounding water and prepares a massive area of effect attack, aiming to wipe out everything nearby. A powerful water pillar strikes with extreme force. Even early-stage warriors in silver armor can barely survive it. Qin Feng notes he only dodged because his shadow class has high starting agility. After launching the AI attack, the ghost ship summons 12 decaying water ghosts, adding another layer of danger. Each summoned ghost has silver tier strength. The ghosts attack wildly, overwhelming most parties. Worse, the boss continues summoning one every 3 minutes. If not dealt with quickly, the growing number leads to full team elimination. Qin Feng stays in an invisible state. He waits patiently for the perfect moment to strike. With the right angle, he unleashes Instant Shadow Slash, wiping out multiple enemies in a single burst of damage. He follows up with Venom Dart and a critical hit. The attacks rain down without giving the boss any time to react. Watching from a distance, the priestess is stunned. She realizes this is the top-ranked shadow. His movements are so fast and lethal that the boss has already lost half its health without a chance to fight back. Qin Feng calmly tells his teammate not to interfere, stating he'll die soon and revive on his own. Confused, she questions why he would say that when he has the upper hand. She also reacts to being called Little Black, unsure what it means. Qin Feng keeps calling her Little Black despite her protests. She clarifies her name is Black Plum Big Plum, not Little Black, but gives in and accepts the nickname. Meanwhile, a man in another area curses his carelessness. Once a legend who defeated many, he now finds himself humiliated struggling against a young girl. One of the players reports to his boss that the girl is near the cliff and Qin Feng is fighting the boss solo below. The boss gathers his group, confident he can finally defeat him this time. Qin Feng targets the ship's fourth weak point, its most difficult one to deal with while still in motion. As the boss's health drops to half, the golden ghost ship activates a large-scale AI soul surge, flooding the area with deadly energy. Qin Feng realizes he's vulnerable, unable to move for 5 seconds, and knows he can't dodge the upcoming attack in his current state. The priestess watches in shock. Qin Feng, overwhelmed by the ghost ship's powerful soul surge, braces for impact as energy surges around him. He takes a fatal hit, losing over 1,000 HP. A message confirms his death. System notifications reveal the cost: he loses 326 years of untradable lifespan and 1087 days of tradable lifespan as a penalty for dying in the rage zone. The enemy leader mocks Qin Feng's failure, laughing and calling him arrogant for challenging a gold-tier boss solo. They notice the dropped lifespan orbs and are surprised by how much he had. The boss still has half its health left, so they decide to charge in and finish it off. They're excited at the opportunity not just to defeat the boss, but also to collect a huge amount of lifespan for themselves. Suddenly, as one of them reaches for the orb, a glowing gateway opens above. The leader looks up, confused. In the real world, frustrated players shout in disbelief. They can't understand how the boss became this powerful, or how Qin Feng managed to cut its health in half so quickly. Despite heavy losses, the enemy leader refuses to give up. He urges his team to continue, unwilling to accept defeat. Suddenly, Qin Feng appears near the lifespan orbs, surprising everyone. Qin Feng returns, and the priestess is surprised by how fast he revived. He asks about the lifespan orbs, and she explains a group of players charged in, but were wiped out by a water column. He smirks, saying they overestimated themselves. He recalls that in his previous life, he had also suffered because of this very boss. He explains that the ghost ship only uses its immobilization skill once. After that, it becomes easier unless it gets damaged while at low HP, then it may teleport, making it harder to kill. Without wasting time, Qin Feng activates Poison Dart. He strikes the ghost ship's weak point again, landing a powerful hit with precise timing. The boss retaliates, but Qin Feng continues dodging incoming attacks. He uses instant Shadow Slash, confidently stating he has already figured out the boss's attack patterns. From a distance, the rival group spots Qin Feng battling the boss again. They decide to wait for the right moment to ambush and eliminate both him and the boss. The priestess notices the enemy group returning and gets frustrated they're causing trouble again. She realizes she can't let them interfere while Qin Feng is about to finish off the boss. She begins casting a powerful lightning spell, channeling energy through her staff. Lightning strikes down on the enemies, damaging several of them and taking some by surprise. The enemy leader shouts in confusion, asking who's attacking them. One of his men points out that the mage is behind the assault. The enemy leader gets furious and orders his men to kill the priestess for interfering. She panics as they charge at her. She runs across the cliff, calling for help while the group chases after her with weapons drawn. Meanwhile, two mans quietly observe everything from behind a tree. Qin Feng reflects that the golden ghost ship is nearly defeated, but it's proven difficult even as a level 5 boss. His damage output was too low, which prolonged the battle and drew attention. A system announcement confirms that player Shadow from Shell Town becomes the first on the server to solo kill a gold grade boss, earning reputation points. Players across the map react in shock. They wonder where Shell Town is and who this incredibly strong Shadow really is. Others are stunned by his rapid growth. He had just soloed a bronze boss, and now a gold one. One girl watches quietly, thinking that if she could team up with him, she might finally catch up to her brother. The defeated boss drops a large number of valuable lifespan orbs and items. The rival group notices that Qin Feng hasn't collected the loot, assuming he's hiding with invisibility. They believe he's wary of them and plan to ambush him. One of them, Guang, is told to activate his detection skill and finish Qin Feng off. Guang summons a phantom horned eagle, a beast that can detect invisible targets. He draws his bow, preparing to launch an anti-invisibility skill. Qin Feng realizes their strategy and recognizes the beast's ability. However, he remains calm. His assassin class has a passive +1 invisibility level, meaning basic detection like this won't expose him. The group assumes Qin Feng has fled after seeing their numbers. They relax slightly, thinking he's smart for running. They decide to guard the loot. Since ownership lasts 5 minutes, they plan to wait it out before claiming everything. Unaware of the danger, they casually talk while standing near the loot, believing they're in control. Suddenly, Qin Feng strikes from the shadows with instant Shadow Slash, catching them completely off guard with a devastating ambush. Qin Feng looks around at the loot and wonders where the priestess went, deciding to find her later. He has enough evolution points and chooses to upgrade his Greedy Hands skill from Diamond to Epic before collecting the loot. The upgraded skill gives a 100% chance to upgrade loot by 1 tier, exciting him with its potential. He activates the skill, gathering all the lifespan lights in a swirling golden aura, ready to absorb them with a satisfied grin. Qin Feng activates Greedy Hand, unleashing a powerful golden energy across the forest as it gathers the loot. He gains multiple rewards, evolution points, hundreds of tradable lifespan days, and 2 rare Ghostfire Bells. The Ghostfire Bell grants powerful passives and actives preventing lifespan loss on death, increasing dropped lifespan, and stunning nearby enemies. Holding 2 doubles the effect. As Qin Feng examines the items, he hears the priestess calling for help. Realizing something's wrong, he immediately starts searching for her. He continues searching, calling out for the priestess. He suddenly hears her panicked voice, warning others not to come near. Priestess surrounded by a group of enemies making vile remarks and threatening her, trying to force her into submission. She stays defiant, clutching her staff and refusing to back down. The priestess leaps off the cliff to avoid capture, holding her staff tightly as she falls. She crashes to the ground below, motionless. One of the enemies is stunned by her resolve, quietly admitting she really went through with it. Her spirit communicates with Qin Feng, saying she's already died and returned to town. She mentions that the party's tradable lifespan is safe with Wang Meng. Qin Feng solemnly acknowledges her message and promises to deliver the loot to her soon. Qin Feng reviews his gains: 3,115 days of tradable lifespan and 21 evolution points. A prompt appears asking if he wants to keep evolving his greedy hand skill, now at epic rank. Seeing the high cost of evolution, 210 points, he decides to prioritize offensive skills instead, knowing stronger damage will help him tackle tougher bosses and earn better loot. He evolves Instant Shadow Slash, improving its range, duration, and damage output. Now, even basic slashes deal significantly more. Qin Feng explains that without stealth, he can now deal 3,000 damage, but if he performs a stealth backstab, the total burst can reach up to 6,000, making him even more lethal. Thanks to Greedy Hand, Qin Feng receives exceptional loot: 1 gold equipment, 2 platinum items, and a platinum skill book, far more than a normal drop from a gold tier boss. Among them is the Ghost Ship Dual Blades Platinum, a level 5 assassin weapon that boosts agility and deals double damage on normal attacks. Though Qin Feng relies more on skills than basic attacks, he acknowledges the weapon's high base attack, agility bonus, and armor-piercing effects, which still offer great value. He also equips Ghostfire Leather Armor Gold, which adds 90 health directly. With his current health still at 350, the armor significantly improves his survivability enough that most players can't even scratch him. Qin Feng makes his gear invisible to disguise his power and selects the classic appearance of the assassin class. He plans to prevent others from easily checking his stats and finds a final item, a skill book. He's excited to see it's a rare survival skill for assassins, though he remembers it's usually weak because dodge rate is hard to increase. It's often not worth the investment for most players. With his unique ability to evolve skills infinitely, he can raise dodge rate without sacrificing other stats. For him, it's a pure advantage. He plans to sell the leftover items at a discount or on credit through Wang Meng. He acknowledges that this massive upgrade wouldn't be possible without the help of the priestess Little Black and genuinely feels grateful. Qin Feng walks calmly through the rain when a group of players approaches. One of them recognizes him. It's the Shadow. Panic instantly sets in among the group. They break into a chaotic retreat, shoving each other and screaming in fear. Some beg not to be left behind. Qin Feng strikes swiftly with his enhanced Instant Shadow Slash, slicing through them before they can escape. The leader realizes too late that resistance is futile. The last remaining enemy begs for mercy as he flees through the forest, promising never to harm others again. Qin Feng grabs him and coldly questions if he considered the consequences when he attacked others. The man sobs, pleading not to be killed due to his short remaining lifespan. Qin Feng kills him mercilessly. The system announces that Qin Feng has received a killer status for killing too many players, meaning he will lose 75% of his lifespan if he dies. But with the Ghostfire Bell, he's unfazed, knowing he can still avoid the penalty if it happens. Qin Feng walks into town. The crowd is shocked he's returned after defeating a gold boss. Some skeptics whisper that he probably exploited the boss, assuming he didn't get any loot since he's not wearing visible gear. Qin Feng ignores them, thinking to himself that even if he dies, the Ghostfire Bell will protect his lifespan. One of the men approaches him respectfully, calling him Brother Shadow and asking him to wait. To make peace, the man offers Qin Feng an assassin skill book they bought using their own lifespan and asks him to accept it as a way to forget their past conflict. Qin Feng inspects the offered book and learns it's a control skill called Impale, which stuns enemies briefly and adds extra attack damage. He accepts the book without much expression and walks away silently, saying only one word, "Fine." Behind him, the other players whisper angrily. Some feel humiliated having to offer a gift to the very person who defeated them, but Zion Shao, the leader, calms them. He believes Qin Feng has a massive secret and is growing too fast. If they uncover his real-life identity, they could force the truth from him or even take his lifespan. Zion Shao and his men plot to use a beautiful woman to seduce and trick Qin Feng, assuming he's poor and easy to manipulate. Qin Feng meets with Big Plum, casually offering her new equipment and items in return for their agreement. Excited, Big Plum is overwhelmed by the powerful effects of the gear, especially the necklace that boosts her magic. She thanks him gratefully, but Qin Feng reminds her of their deal, asking her to hand over the space ring. She quickly agrees and complies. Big Plum shares how she found a hidden underground ruin while escaping in the forest, asking if Qin Feng is interested. Qin Feng listens closely, realizing that her tip is valuable. He thinks giving her the gold equipment was worth it to gain her trust. With a new space ring, his inventory expands to 27 slots. He decides to sell items to Wang Meng, then explore the ruin. Big Plum marks the ruin's entrance on the map, describing a stone slab she moved to enter, though she fled after hearing terrifying sounds from within. Big Plum agrees to head to the ruins and wait for Wang Meng to return. Qin Feng suddenly disappears without warning. While moving through shadows, Qin Feng decides there's no need to grind anymore since he now has access to a ruin. He recalls that beginner ruins are usually tombs, cursed ruins, or temples of faith, filled with bronze and silver tier monsters. For Qin Feng, these ruins aren't just dungeons, they're treasure troves filled with lifespan and evolution points. He arrives at the hidden entrance and descends into the underground ruins. He recalls that tombs, cursed ruins, and temples of faith are the three main types found in beginner towns. Tombs are filled with monsters and usually guarded by a gold boss. Cursed ruins hold twisted souls cursed by evil gods. Clearing cursed or faith-based ruins rewards special items or skill books. Inside, Qin Feng recognizes the symbols on the wall. He's inside a temple of faith, known for its maze-like structure and cultist monsters. Qin Feng examines the ancient murals and feels a strange familiarity with them. He realizes the temple is tied to the ancient god of judgment, the same origin as his own Eye of Judgment power. Wang Meng tries to defend himself using a glowing shield against a sudden attack, but a red creature smashes into him with overwhelming force, shattering his defense. The red monster slashes through another fighter, sending him flying. Wang Meng yells at the healer to act quickly, but she seems confused. The girl panics, not knowing how to heal him properly. Before she can react, the red monster charges at them again. The girl breaks down, screaming in fear and throwing away her staff. Her teammates return to town silently. Big Plum greets them cheerfully. She tells them Shadow isn't back yet, so they can't buy any equipment. The man angrily scolds the healer for being useless in battle, criticizing her for not dodging attacks or using her skills properly. The man yells at Big Plum, frustrated over the healer's failure. Big Plum defends her, saying it's normal for beginners to make mistakes. Another man complains that they died not just once but 3 times in less than an hour. Big Plum steps forward, saying she received powerful items from the expert and wants to join them again. She confidently declares she's strong now and believes she won't die in the dungeon again. The team leader agrees to let her join, saying her help might ensure smoother progress and maybe they'll meet expert Shadow again. The girl is scolded again. One member mocks her, blaming everything on her and claiming her only worth is her connection to expert Shadow. The girl apologizes, hiding her anger. Meanwhile, Qin Feng walks deeper into the mysterious ruin. He pauses inside the dark corridor. He discovers eerie, crying figures kneeling inside a large chamber. Devout follower of the ancient god, the judged LV. 10 tier, Silver Qin Feng uses instant shadow slash to ambush the kneeling devout followers. Despite landing a backstab, their HP barely drops. He realizes their combined health surpasses even the Golden Ghost ship's boss. The followers kneel again, facing his direction, though he's still in stealth. He suspects they're reacting to his Eye of Judgment skill. Curious, Qin Feng steps forward and calmly asks, "Do the two of you know the way? Guide me." Qin Feng realizes the devout followers are fully corrupted and have lost their sanity, now only stealing lifespan from humans. He recognizing the threat 2 silver bosses. They try to flee, knowing even one is too much to handle. A girl from the new team is attacked and poisoned, overwhelmed by the silver tier monster's strength. Qin Feng identifies the group Grey Rose, the team of the girl who bought the spike. He notes that while they've found the ruin, none of them are strong enough to venture deeper. He is surprised by the generous loot drop over 100 days of tradable lifespan from the 2 silver tier followers. After inspecting the temple, he finds no traps or hidden treasures and starts wondering if these were just mini-bosses. Frustrated, he decides to kill them off, ending their existence swiftly. The system rewards him with 4,000 XP, 4 evolution points, and 188 days of tradable lifespan, boosting him to level 9. Qin Feng activates his upgraded Greedy Hand skill, triggering a golden loot explosion. He celebrates the epic tier upgrade, gaining massive rewards, 32 evolution points, 1504 days of tradable lifespan, 4 gold tier, and 10 silver tier items. Among the loot is a powerful gold pendant that boosts agility, reduces cooldowns, and can summon a silver follower. Qin Feng calculates the benefits. His stealth cooldown dropped to 19. 25s, poison dart to 3, 75s, and instant shadow slash to 8, 85s. Excited, he notes that this boost will make future grinding far more efficient. Qin Feng stands in the temple center as golden light swirls around him. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism triggers from the floor. He observes it closely, realizing that clearing all the monsters activated this next stage of the dungeon. Qin Feng inspects the strange pillar that emerged from the floor. As it creaks and shifts, he realizes it's a hidden mechanism. The ground opens beneath him, revealing a descending platform. He steps on and identifies it. It's a lift leading deeper into the ruins. He reaches the end of the lift's long descent, estimating a drop of 300 to 400 meters. As he steps off, he surveys his surroundings and realizes he's entered a dark, eerie area. It's not just any room, it's the maze hidden beneath the temple. He explores the maze beneath the temple, aware that hidden traps are scattered throughout. Given his fragile build, triggering even one could be fatal. To stay safe, he uses his Pendant of the Faithful to summon a silver-tier devout follower. He commands it to scout ahead and activate any traps in his place, ensuring his own safety while progressing deeper into the maze. With the summoned lackey scouting ahead, Qin Feng safely explores the maze. He decides to evolve his dodge passive skill first to stay safe, upgrading Ghost Shadow Blur to Epic Tier, giving him a 75% dodge rate and immunity to all damage during dodge activation. He then uses the remaining points to evolve Instant Shadow Slash to Epic Tier, increasing its slash width, damage, and duration. Qin reflects that evolving higher tier skills is more efficient, as Epic Tier skills only need 10 points to reach Legendary, making rapid power growth possible. He explains that even low-tier skills can be quickly pushed to Epic by spending just a few evolution points. He evolves his stealth skill, Shadow Sneak, from Gold to Platinum, enhancing its stealth duration, attack power, and reducing cooldown. Thanks to his cooldown reduction attributes, its final cooldown becomes 3 seconds. Confident, he declares that from now on, all his skills will be Epic Tier or higher. Meanwhile, the summoned follower triggers a hidden mechanism, causing a massive stone to descend before Qin Feng. Qin Feng's summoned follower dies, forcing him to wait for the cooldown before summoning again. Aware of the maze danger, he proceeds cautiously, hoping to find valuable loot. Meanwhile, on the upper layer of the temple, members of the Grey Rose Party confirm that the two monsters have mysteriously vanished. The Grey Rose team is shocked to find their stolen lifespan gone and the silver bosses defeated. They speculate that only expert Shadow Qin Feng could have done it. One of them recalls seeing him communicate with the monsters and wonders if he used a mind-controlling skill. Meanwhile, Qin Feng slaughters another enemy and reaches the end of the maze after 3 hours of cautious progress. He reflects that in his past life, reaching this point would have cost hundreds of lives. He continues deeper into the maze, commanding his summoned silver-tier follower to open a mysterious stone door ahead. The follower struggles, pushing with both hands, but the door remains firmly shut. He finds the sealed stone door puzzling and tries to open it himself by pressing his hand against the surface. Suddenly, blue energy pulses and the door bursts open with a loud force, blowing wind and dust outward. Qin Feng and his follower are caught off guard by the unexpected reaction. Qin Feng cautiously steps forward and finds himself in front of a thorn-wrapped treasure chest guarded by a mysterious NPC. The chest appears locked and dangerous. The NPC, shrouded in a nun-like outfit with an eye symbol on her hat, emits a strange aura. He observes the strange NPC, baffled as all her details remain hidden behind question marks. She speaks in an unknown language, then suddenly begins glowing with golden energy. The thorns around the locked treasure chest also disappear, leaving Qin Feng even more puzzled by this mysterious encounter. Qin Feng observes the now unsealed golden chest, glowing with powerful energy. He suspects the mysterious woman is linked to the Eye of Judgment. Aware it could be trapped or a mimic, he cautiously prepares. Instead of risking himself, he orders the summoned follower to open the chest. He obtains an Epic Tier Assassin skill book, Bestowal of Mercy. Its passive greatly increases damage to weak points and doubles their hitbox size. The active skill Slit Throat applies damage over time equal to the initial strike's power. He analyzes that Slit Throat is especially powerful. A 300 damage hit would apply a 3-second debuff, dealing 300 damage per second totaling 1200 damage. Although multi-hit skills only trigger the debuff once, the burst potential is massive. He notes the skill's cooldown and effectiveness carefully. Since it's epic tier, it can be evolved to legendary. Qin Feng is thrilled this loot massively boosts his burst potential. He decides to return, planning to sell leftover loot to Wang Meng's party. He tells Little Black to relay the message while the others prepare to leave the ruins. He's still thinking about the insane value of Slit Throat, which boosts his weak point damage significantly. Upon arriving back in town, he's immediately recognized. The crowd reacts in awe at his presence. Players shout his name Shadow and rush to interact with him. Some ask to join him, others offer help or try to impress him. Qin Feng notices that teleportation gates from other towns have started activating. He prepares to head towards Song Fei's Firefly Town. As the gate powers up, the crowd is surprised by his sudden disappearance. Tension erupts in the crowd. Arguments break out over who was bothering Qin Feng, escalating into a physical fight between players. At the new location, Big Plum spots Qin Feng and calls out to him, surprised by his arrival. She excitedly announces Qin Feng's arrival. Wang Meng turns in surprise upon seeing him. Qin Feng notices something unusual and narrows his eyes. He sees Qin Xiaoyu smiling and standing with Wang Meng's team. Qin Feng questions how she managed to join Wang Meng's crew. Qin Feng remains cautious. With his identity as Shadow now widely known, he avoids using powers in public to stay safe. Back in game, Qin Xiaoyu admires Shadow's strength and hopes he could help her reunite with her brother. She looks down on Wang Meng's team in comparison. He offers gear and skill books worth 2,200 days of lifespan. Wang Meng is shocked by the cost, but Qin Feng tells him they can pay later. Grateful, Wang Meng promises that if Qin Feng ever needs help, his team will support him without hesitation. Wang Meng's team is thrilled as Qin Feng provides them with powerful gold tier gear. One player is shocked his DPS tripled, while another gets emotional after being trusted with credit. Qin Xiaoyu notices there's no equipment for priests and begins to feel overlooked. Other teammates show little sympathy. She steps forward and politely asks Qin Feng if there's any equipment meant for her priest role in the team. Qin Feng watches as she sends him a friend request under the name Little Graceful. As Qin Feng vanishes through the teleportation gate, Qin Xiaoyu and the others are left wondering where he went. Some suggest he simply didn't have any priest gear to offer, while others suspect he deliberately ignored her. Despite this, they admire his swift and mysterious exit. Unseen by the others, Qin Feng reflects quietly. He actually has gold-tier priest equipment in his inventory. He looks at the staff and skill book, but dismisses the idea of giving them to Qin Xiaoyu, questioning why he would share such valuable items with her. He knows he'll accumulate many unused items and skill books. Selling them to Wang Meng's group in bulk will save time, so he can't let Qin Xiaoyu ruin that connection. He decides to replace her quickly and recalls someone far more qualified, Little Zhu. Gu Yuxi, known in his past life, was a top-tier hidden class priest called the White Avian Priestess. Her white bird could heal and buff, and she was strong enough to solo epic bosses. Compared to her, Qin Xiaoyu is nothing. He remembers that Little Zhu is also from Firefly Town and heads toward the portal. Qin Feng decides to head to Firefly Town, intending to recruit Little Zhu as a proper priest replacement for Wang Meng's team. He activates the teleportation gate and begins his transfer. Arriving in Firefly Town, he quietly surveys the area, looking for clues or signs of Little Zhu. Elsewhere in town, a group of thugs plans to ambush someone named Song Fei out of jealousy. They're frustrated by his popularity and plan to take him down before he secures a boss kill. Qin Feng is pleased to have already discovered leads about Song Fei's whereabouts not long after arriving. He heads toward a dangerous location just outside town, Wailing Valley, an area designated for level 5 players. As he enters the zone, he notes that the monsters here are Ember Fiends and Shackleds, both high-threat enemies. Suddenly, he witnesses someone being ambushed. A fight breaks out, and one of the attackers yells furiously, threatening to kill their opponent for striking back. A massive twin-headed Emberfiend charges at the players. Chaos erupts as they scramble to dodge its fiery attacks. He observes from a distance. He identifies the Emberfiend as a silver-tier boss, but notes that the battlefield is disorganized. Amidst the confusion, players aren't just fighting the boss, they're turning on each other, intensifying the chaos. Qin Feng spots a familiar group. He's caught off guard when he recognizes someone among them. Song Fei appears confidently, surrounded by his loyal fans. One of the attackers shouts his name with fury. The man charges at Song Fei, accusing him of ambushing him and stealing his lifespan. He now seeks revenge using a powerful anti-mage skill called Lockjaw. One of the girls rushes in to protect Song Fei, calling him her oppa and blocking the attack with determination. Qin Feng watches from hiding. He remembers that in his past life, Song Fei used his popularity to convince fangirls to play as mages, then exploited them by taking their equipment and skills to quickly power up. Song Fei shouts, expressing pain for how much his followers suffer. His fans respond emotionally, insisting he's the one who works the hardest. As the fiery monster roars, Song Fei and his group begin attacking it together, declaring they'll fight for his sake. The girls scream that the monster must die for harming Song Fei, shouting that they'll follow him forever. The monster retaliates with a flaming punch towards Song Fei, who braces himself for impact. Song Fei continues attacking the burning boss with all his strength, determined to protect his followers. One of the girls falls, and Song Fei rushes to her side. She admires him deeply and pledges her loyalty, moved by his devotion. Another girl urges the group to push harder, hoping that defeating this boss will put Song Fei at the top of the rankings, surpassing even Shadow. With a burst of energy, she unleashes her magic while shouting a vow to rise alongside Song Fei and shake the world together. A powerful lightning attack strikes the flaming boss, signaling its imminent defeat. Song Fei prepares to land the final blow, excited at the idea of defeating a silver tier boss and leveling up. He doubts anyone could solo a gold tier boss. He believes Shadow must be using some kind of exploit, while Song Fei is still level 7 despite having a whole team. Shadow has climbed ahead too fast. Smirking, Song Fei dreams of surpassing Shadow and becoming the #1 in the game, finally taking the spotlight for himself. Qin Feng descends with a powerful strike, activating instant Shadow Slash as he targets Song Fei directly. The attack lands cleanly, cutting through Song Fei with precision and force, leaving him in shock and pain. His followers scream in panic as they watch Song Fei fall. The aftermath shows a screen filled with massive damage numbers and kill confirmations. Qin Feng has eliminated multiple players and the boss in a single devastating move. Players are shocked that the boss was instantly killed. One skill caused thousands of damage, far beyond what they're capable of. Qin Feng's AO attack not only defeated the boss, but also wiped out Song Fei and his entire group. Other players begin to suspect it was Shadow behind the strike. Many players cheer, saying Shadow eliminated the toxic group and did everyone a favor. They praise him and offer him the boss drops. Song Fei revives in town, stunned by the death message. He realizes he lost over 1,000 days of tradable life, and even more in untradable lifespan. His fans are confused and panicked. They question how even Song Fei could die and wonder why Shadow would target them. Some fans claim it must have been a sneak attack just to steal the silver tier boss. They label Shadow a coward for catching Song Fei off guard. Meanwhile, a new girl politely asks to join Song Fei's team. But the other girls harshly reject her, saying she's not a mage and her low DPS would hurt Song Fei's rankings. Despite the earlier defeat, Song Fei gathers his fans and tells them to stay united. He assures them that love can still make up for everything. He welcomes the new girl warmly, saying her emotional sincerity matters more than her class. He invites her to grow stronger with them. Overcome with joy, the girl breaks down in tears and confesses her love for Song Fei. More fangirls rush in to join, showing off their new skills. Each one tries to prove their worth just to earn a place beside Song Fei. Song Fei spreads his arms, calling his followers a loving family. He says anyone who wants to join is welcome. The fangirls are overwhelmed with emotion, calling him warm and gentle. They chant about staying loyal to him forever. The group gets fired up, demanding revenge on Shadow for humiliating Song Fei. They plan to trap and kill him as payback. Meanwhile, nearby players wonder what the fuss is about. One casually explains that the celebrity Song Fei just got wiped and returned from outside the town. Bystanders mock how Song Fei died despite having so many fangirls. Someone responds, reminding them his opponent was Shadow. Song Fei smugly declares he'll defeat Shadow in front of everyone and prove that assassins are no match for high-level mages. Shadow activates his evolution skill, Hand of Graceful Escape, glowing with a radiant golden aura. The system reveals Shadow used 10 evolution points to unlock a powerful buff that massively boosts his damage and weak point strike effectiveness. Shadow's skill boosts weak point targeting to 200%, effectively enlarging enemy weak spots and making most attacks deal critical damage. He checks the skill evolution tree and learns that evolving to mythical tier from legendary would require an overwhelming number of evolution points. After spending 8 more points, he unlocks the gold tier skill, Backstab Boost, increasing damage when attacking from behind by up to 40%. Shadow calmly summarizes his gains from the boss fight over 1400 days of tradable life. A rogue girl charges at Shadow with a glowing dagger, aiming for a sneak attack. She strikes fiercely, shouting for Shadow's death. Despite her aggression, every slash narrowly misses. Her attacks are completely ineffective. Confused and panicked, she questions why none of her blows are landing as Shadow vanishes from her sight. He avoids an incoming strike with swift movement, disappearing into smoke. A girl shouts from a cliff, claiming Shadow is surrounded and can't escape now. 2 enraged girls prepare to attack, channeling magic to avenge Song Fei's defeat. Shadow cloaks himself in a swirling black mist, activating his stealth skill while the barren ground glows beneath him. A girl on a cliff draws her glowing bow with sharp aim, smirking as she believes she can expose his position. As she fires, the golden sky erupts with radiant feathers and energy. A girl stands alert as glowing feathers swirl around her on the ground. Eyes wide in shock, she realizes something has been revealed. 2 fangirls yell with clenched fists, filled with rage and passion, commanding others to unleash their strongest attacks on the hidden enemy. The girl leaps forward, body glowing with intense multicolored magic beams as she prepares her full-force strike. An explosion erupts violently at the base of the cliff with flames and shockwaves bursting outward. The angry girl shouts with a clenched fist, her eyes filled with resentment. Behind her, the blue-haired girl looks surprised but agrees, nodding nervously. A ghostly bell rings ominously with glowing energy. The system describes its ability, stunning enemies within 100 meters for 3 seconds. Several girls freeze mid-motion, eyes wide and glowing blue, realizing they can't move. Black shadows wrap around 2 frozen girls' necks, their faces panicked and sweating as they struggle to breathe. Shadow unleashes a rapid shadow slash skill. His body glows with sharp blue light as shadow tendrils slice through the air violently. Victims are lifted off the ground in slow motion, their eyes wide in shock and horror. Shadow blades pierce their bodies as they begin to fall lifelessly. Song Fei peeks from behind a wall, stunned. His eyes are wide, mouth slightly open as he asks in disbelief why the girls all died at once. Before he can process what's happening, Shadow appears behind him silently. Song Fei's eyes bulge with fear as he hears a chilling voice say, "Song Fei, you're already dead?" Song Fei casts a spell while shouting "Magic Shield" with desperation. His body is tense and leaning forward, encased in a glowing circular shield. A green blade pierces his forehead, eyes wide in shock. His expression freezes in terror as blood trails down his cheek. Song Fei's body crashes to the ground, green shadow energy leaking from his wound. The assassin stands tall, calm, and silent, holding his weapon loosely. Surrounded by glowing life essence, the assassin looks down coldly and remarks, "He had over 2,000 days of lifespan on him." He stands silently in a scorched battlefield, golden soul orbs floating in the air. The burnt trees and cracked earth emphasize the aftermath of a deadly encounter. He observes the surroundings, slightly tilting his head in thought. He wonders why none of the girls have any lifespan points left. It's implied Song Fei used them all up. Back in town, Song Fei cries out in anger and frustration, clutching his glowing hands. His face is twisted in panic and disbelief as he realizes his 2,000 days of lifespan were reduced to only 500 after the assassin's strike. Others around him look shocked. The assassin tracking girl defends herself with a distressed expression, saying she used her skill but only found one teammate. The other girl yells in frustration, fists clenched, suggesting the assassin's stealth skill must be of a higher level than theirs. Song Fei speaks seriously while walking through a busy town. He frowns, concerned about how to defend against Shadow, whose stealth ability is flawless. His follower nervously admits his detection skill is only level 1, meaning he can't see someone with a higher stealth level. Song Fei with a flustered blush and anxious eyes. He nervously touches his face while wondering if the assassin might be jealous of his stunning appearance and could come back to kill him again. He rallies his fanatical followers, who raise their staffs high in a fiery show of devotion. He declares that, for everyone's safety, they'll relocate to level up elsewhere. Meanwhile, Shadow quietly teleports into the peaceful outskirts of another part of the city. He stands calmly in a golden-lit plaza, slightly confused. He wonders where Song Fei and his group have gone. Perhaps they logged off or moved towns. A startled man suddenly rushes up to Shadow, eyes wide in shock and respect. He asks urgently if the person before him is truly Shadow-sama. Pointing anxiously, the man tells Shadow where Song Fei went, begging him to kill him. However, he pleads for one thing: spare his girlfriend, a female hunter named Fei Bayar. Shadow coldly suggests he get a new girlfriend. The man falls to his knees beside a glowing black teleportation portal. Desperate, he begs again not to lose the girl he just found. His hands tremble while Shadow silently prepares to vanish, with cool blue and black energy swirling around. Shadow walks alone through a glowing city plaza. A desperate man pleads behind him, begging for help. Shadow calmly thinks to himself that underground searching takes too much time unless he finds someone specific. Guyixu. Shadow suddenly halts. His eyes widen slightly as a girl with long braided hair and a black robe appears. She holds her staff firmly, and a small bird rests on her hand. Shadow approaches her from behind, politely calling out, "Beauty, can I ask a favor?" Guyixu turns in surprise, recognizing him and asking, "Are you Shadow?" He offers a glowing golden staff to Guyixu, asking her to help locate Song Fei using her class's wide-range search ability. She is surprised and intrigued, staring at the staff with awe. She smiles brightly, her eyes sparkling behind her glasses. She asks who told him she could search such a wide area, but clearly wants the staff. Shadow ignores the question and pushes the trade, saying, "Do you want this golden weapon or not?" She turns around, clutching the staff eagerly. Shadow mentions he's fine with a lower offer, sealing the deal. She agrees to the trade, happy with the discounted price. A glowing, "trade successful" message appears. Yixu hugs the staff happily, grinning and whispering with joy, "Yay, a golden tier staff." Gu Yixu smiles brightly as Shadow gently flicks her forehead. Shadow sternly tells her to get to work. She nods with determination and runs off, staff in hand, while a small owl follows her. Yixu walks away, thinking about Shadow. She feels an odd sense of warmth despite meeting him for the first time. She wonders aloud if he might be her friend King Fei in disguise, since he somehow knew her enemy. Turning around suddenly, Gu Yixu suspiciously questions Shadow directly, "Wait, are you King Fei?" Gu Yixu raises her staff and releases her owl familiar into the sky, commanding it to go. The golden sky glows behind her. Shadow turns his head slightly and casually mutters, "Like I care." The owl flies high above a red-roofed town, scanning the vast landscape until it locks onto a distant valley. The owl's vision zooms in the valley. Gu Yixu excitedly exclaims, "I found Song Fei." The owl returns and signals it has located Song Fei. Coordinates are provided, but there's uncertainty whether the target will remain in place. Shadow tells the girl to add him as a friend and keep him updated on Song Fei's movements. She asks how long it will take. Without answering directly, Shadow dashes off at high speed through a canyon, determined to reach the target quickly. Shadow suddenly narrows his eyes, sensing something. He halts beside a large tree. He inspects the tree closely, asking if there are any other similar trees nearby. The observer scans the area and confirms there are 2 more trees of the same type, each located about 100 meters ahead and to the left. Shadow marks the tree with a glowing slash. He draws a second glowing symbol onto another tree, as someone observing wonders about its meaning. He finishes a third marking with a circular flame emblem. A sudden burst of light shoots into the sky from the marked trees. Shadow stands before a glowing emerald-colored treasure and laughs, revealing it's a rare grade loot chest. He is surprised that he found an ancient divine blessing so early in the beginner village and even opened a treasure chest. He explains that the area likely contains a hidden rune pattern. These usually trigger when specific symbols are drawn on marked trees. He realizes the treasure chest contains rare tradable lifespan equivalent to tens of thousands in real money value. The flying scout bird rushes to record Shadow's rune gestures before it forgets, thinking it could be very profitable intel. He opens the jade chest and obtains a special ability called Blooming Curse. He's curious about what kind of skill it is. The skill description explains, if used on a corpse within 15 seconds of death, a curse flower will bloom and extract all tradable lifespan from the target. He smirks and realizes the skill is powerful. It ensures any future kill allows him to drain full tradable life by planting this flower on the enemy's corpse. He declares that Song Fei's lucky days are over. He plans to ambush and eliminate him permanently using this deadly combo. The group launches a coordinated magic attack, killing a flaming wolf monster. Everyone relaxes as the threat is eliminated. They believe Shadow won't pursue them this far. Song Fei grins confidently, complaining that Shadow stole his silver tier boss and killed him twice. He swears to get revenge later. With a sinister look, Song Fei vows to grind levels here and come back stronger to settle the score with Shadow. A girl spots a group fighting a boss monster nearby and excitedly points it out to Song Fei. Song Fei and the others recognize the group. They're shocked to see fans of New Jayaki among them. In a jealous frenzy, Song Fei's followers scream to charge in, determined to stop them from helping Jayaki climb the ranks. Jayaki's group is happy to see backup arriving, unaware it's a hostile ambush disguised as allies. The chubby girl violently punches the male healer in the face, catching him completely off guard. With blood flying, he's slammed into the ground as the attacker jumps down with terrifying force. His teammates cry out in shock, demanding to know why they're being attacked and if the girls have gone insane. Covered in dark aura, the girls coldly declare this is the fate of anyone who sides with New Jayaki. The confused girl shouts that she doesn't know anyone named New Jayaki and has no idea what they're talking about. Suddenly, a magical spike pierces straight through her mouth, shocking everyone around. Misha is horrified as the attack kills their comrade right in front of her. The vengeful girls shout slogans about rising as queens and wiping out anything associated with New Jayaki. The lizard monster lifts its arms in panic as a barrage of explosive spells rains down from above. In a dramatic vertical blast, the girls scream their battle cries and launch a massive magical strike, saying it's all for their brother. The man floats mid-air with glowing orbs beneath him, emotionally thanking his beloved family for their support. The girls cheerfully scream in unison, saying there's no need to thank them wherever they go. Their heart's Shadow spots a glowing ritual circle in the distance and approaches silently from a cliff. He activates his stealth ability, surrounded by swirling black and blue energy. The energy spirals into the ground, back at the ritual site. Song Fei's followers react with shock as Song Fei suddenly senses something and turns alertly. He is struck through the chest by a stealthy blue attack. His eyes widen in shock as life drains from him. His sister screams in horror and sorrow, crying out to her fallen brother. Shadow Assassin appears behind Song Fei's corpse, revealing himself to the crowd, who stare in disbelief. With glowing eyes, the assassin activates Flower Curse again, absorbing Song Fei's remaining tradable lifespan. A glowing red curse flower blooms from Song Fei's corpse as the assassin channels the flower curse to drain his lifespan. His followers scream in shock and horror as red energy tendrils surge toward them, their faces twisting in panic and disbelief. Song Fei collapses in a magic circle, panicking as an unseen force drains his energy. He screams angrily, asking why the assassin keeps targeting him, accusing him of being jealous. He kneels on the floor, blaming himself for the assassin coming to this town, confused about why the girls being fans matters. He's horrified to see his tradable lifespan drop below 400 days and still decreasing, unable to comprehend the lasting curse. He collapses again inside a glowing ritual circle as the girls channel energy around him. One girl warns that something's wrong, his corpse is showing signs of a red flower blooming. Song Fei panics, realizing the flower is draining his tradable lifespan as numbers tick down rapidly. Terrified of losing everything, he tells everyone to log out and regroup later after buying new gear and lifespan. He vows revenge, declaring he spent 2.5 years training, and will use money to kill the Shadow Man. Red cursed flowers bloom everywhere, symbolizing the draining of lifespan across the battlefield. Shadow absorbs lifespan from multiple corpses around him, glowing with golden energy. A system message warns that due to excessive player kills, he has lost nearly all his life, yet he calmly notes that he's gained over 1,000 days and guesses the survivors must have logged out. The owl flies through the sky in silence. Gu Yixu, shocked by the destruction, realizes this is the true power of the second-ranked player, Shadow. She asks if Song Fei has logged out. The Shadow confirms both he and his fans are offline now, and instructs her to alert him if they return. As she asks to leave, Shadow casually offers her a golden rank priest skill scroll, Holy Healing Sword, asking if she's interested. She happily agrees to wait in the nearby town while the Shadow prepares the skill scroll. Inside the shop, the Shadow offers her a golden rank scroll for half the price in exchange for a favor. The girl gets nervous, but the Shadow clarifies he wants her to join a party as their long-term healer. She agrees, but warns that if the team is too weak, she'll complain directly to the Shadow. Shadow confirms Gu Yixu team is decent, and Gu Yixu says she'll contact them immediately. Meanwhile, Wang Meng lands a powerful finishing blow on a green monster. He breathes a sigh of relief, shouting that he finally took it down. Suddenly poisoned, he desperately begs the healer for a cure, saying he can't hold on much longer. The girl gets excited, saying she finally remembers the healing spell and prepares to cast it. She confidently fires the spell at the poisoned warrior, calling out the name Cleanse. The spell hits just not where it should. Wang Meng looks shocked, while a teammate stands silently. Blushing and nervous, the healer apologizes for missing the target. Wang Meng collapses dramatically as the healer's spell misses again, and the team screams in panic. The healer walks back into town while others regroup and discuss future plans. Wang Meng thinks to himself that they must replace the healer and wonders where to find a better one. Meanwhile, the girl happily levels up and believes she's improving fast and will soon be strong enough to meet Song Fei again. Shadow recommends a strong hidden class owl priest to the team, asking if they're interested in recruiting her. The leader agrees immediately, trusting the recommander's word and saying they'll go meet her at the small town to team up. The girl meets the leader happily, but he hesitates and avoids eye contact. The leader coldly tells her they're heading to a higher level area and her current level is too low, so they won't take her along. The girl nervously tries to convince them she's still capable enough to join, but the team quickly rushes off, telling her there's no time and she should stay safe. She realizes they used a fake excuse just to leave her behind and angrily decides she'll prove herself. She runs off determined, saying she'll go find Shadow to team up with him instead. The girl receives 800 days of lifespan in return for past help and equipment, and hands the remaining share to the black-hooded man. Wang Meng wonders if the person mentioned is Yu, and Shadow confirms it's time to meet. Yu suddenly appears with confidence, shouting that she's here. Shadow is surprised it really is Yu, the hidden job class Dragon Swordsman, and a former global top 20 player. Yu introduces herself and praises Shadow as one of the top pillars of the Eastern faction. She shakes his hand with confidence. She asks about his incredible speed and jokes that he might be someone reborn or from another world. Shadow receives 500 more days of lifespan, realizing Yu must have bought a large amount on behalf of Zhonghai officials. Yu assures him that all official survival tokens are with her, and she won't be a threat. She also requests any extra gear he has, saying they'll accept everything. Shadow assures them he's not short-sighted. Working together is the only way both sides can win. Anu praises him for being wise and clever. Shadow thinks to himself that every word from Anu was a test. She's calm on the surface, but incredibly sharp and resourceful. He internally notes that as someone connected to the Xia Kingdom's officials, she will save him a lot of effort. Kai's female friend stares at her phone in shock, shouting in panic. She just read an official announcement that stuns her. Every bit of lifespan in the God-forbidden game is real. If a player's life hits 0, they will die in real life too. Another girl, furious, yells out in disbelief. She thought it was just a game, but now realizes she traded all her transferable lifespan to her crush Na-Fei. A third girl, filled with dread, looks at her glowing phone. She screams that she only has a few years of life left. The fourth girl recalls having killed many other players, which gave her a killer status. That means every time she dies, her lifespan drops double. After dying 3 times, she realizes she now has only a few years left too. Another girl, panicked, realizes her game role being a frontline tank mage caused her to die multiple times while also killing many players. Now, she's shocked to discover she only has 1 day of lifespan left. She stares at her phone in disbelief, unable to accept that losing all lifespan means real death. She repeatedly denies the truth, trying to convince herself it's all fake. Suddenly, she sees breaking news: Na-Fei is buying up lifespan. She jumps up, determined to find Na-Fei, certain he'll save her. She decides to fully gear up in Na-Fei-themed support clothing. She even tosses on the latest fan-made Na-Fei ultra-thin anti-leak set, convinced it'll help win his favor. Wearing a flashy red dress adorned with Na-Fei's face, the girl poses confidently, striking a dramatic, love-struck stance. Excitedly rushing off, she shouts that she's coming to see Na-Fei, convinced he'll save her. Meanwhile, a different girl wakes up in her room. She questions whether she's back in the real world, still unsure of what's real or a dream. Checking her phone, her eyes widen with shock. She realizes that at the current market rate, 1 day of lifespan sells for 15,000. With 200 days in hand, she instantly understands she's now a millionaire. The girl's eyes widen in absolute shock as she reads the news on her phone. The announcement hits hard. Na-Fei, the one collecting lifespans, was killed 3 times by the Shadow Clan. Tears stream down her face as she covers her mouth, trembling. Still crying, she recalls how Na-Fei had warned her that if someone's lifespan hits 0 in the game, they'll actually die in the real world. Even with 100 years of untradeable lifespan, dying 3 times left him with barely 12 years. She breaks down, calling his name in disbelief and pain. Sitting alone in bed, she wonders why the Shadow Clan targeted Na-Fei and managed to kill him 3 times despite heavy resistance. She trembles, terrified by how overwhelmingly powerful the attacker must be. Suddenly, a broadcast from a familiar fangirl pops up on her phone. She urgently calls on all Na-Fei supporters, especially those in Zhonghai City, to help him by selling their tradable lifespan. The fan announces Na-Fei is currently at Dajang Plaza, where he's purchasing lifespan at a 1:10,000 ratio. She encourages everyone to act quickly, claiming this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get rich and help their beloved Na-Fei. The girl message and is stunned to learn Na-Fei is nearby. Determined not to watch him lose his life, she rushes out, fully intent on going to Dajang Plaza to help him. The girl runs at full speed through the hallway, relieved that the foolish players who targeted her ended up giving her over 200 days of tradable lifespan. Meanwhile, a giant red monster is violently struck and ripped apart by a sharp slash, its body exploding mid-air. Shadow stands at the center of a fierce fight, surrounded by crabs, beasts, and glowing attacks. A system notification flashes. Congratulations, you've reached level 10. Shadow stands tall, gaining stat boosts and unlocking a new class. He is now recognized as the first Shadow player to reach this level, triggering server-wide announcements. A system-wide announcement flashes. Player Shadow has become the first in the world to reach level 10. Nearby players are stunned and murmur among themselves, realizing that the mysterious top player is once again Shadow. Two other players, anxious, talk about how terrifying Shadow has become. One of them mentions hearing that Shadow recently eliminated a minor celebrity multiple times in a row. Elsewhere, a bearded player is shocked to learn that Shadow is actually from Daxia, China. Frustrated, he wonders how Shadow reached level 10 so fast, while even his rare class is only at level 8. He questions why none of their 1.5 billion players can match Shadow's progress. Meanwhile, Shadow stands calmly by the ocean, reviewing his stats. Despite having over 7,000 days of tradable lifespan, he mutters that it's still not enough. His new ability, Backstab Enhancement, boosts rear attacks by 40–50%, and his stats have now fully shifted after using 13 stat points. To leave the starting town and access the Ruins continent, 7 level 10 players must activate the teleportation gate. Unfortunately, the second highest player is only level 7. He realizes he must wait a bit longer. Gazing at the ocean, Shadow calmly notes that the delay works in his favor. He can return to the real world to handle a certain unresolved matter. His digital form begins to dissipate into particles, vanishing from the beach as he initiates the logout process. Back in the real world, Qin Feng now lies motionless on a bed, eyes closed, as if awakening from deep immersion. Lying still with glowing eyes, he receives a system prompt asking if he wants to burn tradable lifespan to bring in-game powers into the real world. Sitting up, he confirms without hesitation. A system interface appears in front of him, listing 5 options: extract class and level, equipment, skills, bloodline locked, and divinity locked. He chooses to extract his class, instantly consuming 1,000 days of tradable lifespan. A surge of energy envelops him as he gains the Shadow hidden class along with significant stat boosts. Next, he spends another 2,000 days of lifespan to extract 2 levels, raising his real-world level to 3 and boosting all his stats once more. His transformation into a real-world powerhouse begins. He stands and prepares for the next step, extracting his skills into the real world. He taps the floating screen with focus. He explains that the higher the skills tier, the more lifespan it consumes to extract. Surprisingly, the cost is based on the skill's original tier, not its upgraded version. Luckily, his Shadow Step skill only requires 900 days, yet grants platinum level strength in reality. Qin Feng burns 900 days for the platinum tier skill Shadow Step, and another 2,262 days for the silver tier skill Blue Soar Flash. With just 1,292 days left, he realizes he can't extract more abilities, but getting high tier skills at base cost was extremely efficient. His hands tighten into fists, glowing with new energy. He assesses his new physical stats. His body now possesses twice the baseline human strength, and his agility has reached 32 points, exceeding natural human limits. Combined with his teleporting dagger skill, he now has enough power to take down Nafei. He checks his phone and learns that Nafei is currently buying lifespans at Dajeng Plaza, likely planning to act after the next game update. The plaza is just 7–8 kilometers away, and with his current speed, he estimates it'll take him just over 10 minutes to get there. Just then, his phone vibrates with an incoming call. The name Hu Kimin flashes on the screen, a notorious supervisor from his former company. As he reads the message, he realizes it's filled with arrogance and threats, demanding an immediate response or face consequences. Without hesitation, he coldly swipes his phone, muttering "scum" as he blacklists the caller. With the call dealt with, his body begins to phase into a shadow. As his glowing eyes pierce through the darkness, he calmly states that people will soon realize the truth, what the real godforsaken game actually is. The crowd is packed, and the stage is lit with glowing purple lights. In the crowd, excited fans scream with joy. They chant the name Song Fei, the person everyone seems to be obsessed with. As the lights brighten, the chant grows louder. People raise their hands toward the stage, overwhelmed with admiration, shouting Song Fei's name repeatedly. Finally, the spotlight reveals two individuals seated on stage in grand chairs. The cheers don't stop. Everyone is focused on the man in the left chair. The woman seated beside Song Fei asks if it's true that he was ambushed and killed 3 times in the godforsaken game. She assures him not to worry, her people are already investigating the true identity behind the shadow assassin. Song Fei responds calmly, asking for an update on the investigation's progress. She reveals that her team has already contacted someone in a small town called Firebud. They're about to offer him a deal too tempting to refuse. She smirks, saying that once he shows up to take the money. With a sly smile, she finishes her thought. Once the target arrives, they'll ambush him, and Song Fei will have the chance to take revenge personally. Song Fei reminds the woman to inform him when the plan is set. He then shifts the topic, mentioning he heard her company, Dajang Industries, is already using this method to control players and force them to work for free. She dismisses it, saying the players they've captured are weak and barely offer any lifespan. Then she praises Song Fei, noting that many women willingly give up their lifespans for him, some even ready to die for him. Song Fei sits back confidently, smirking with pride as if to say, "Of course they do." Suddenly, someone rushes to the stage from the crowd, shouting at everyone. He warns them not to blindly sell their lifespan to others and asks if they've even seen the official warning that was just released. A man on stage shouts in alarm, revealing to the crowd that if your lifespan hits 0 in the game, you'll die in real life too. He accuses Song Fei directly, calling him out for manipulating his fans. Despite knowing how dangerous lifespan is, Song Fei is still buying it en masse through brainwashing. The man declares that this is a crime against humanity and urges the crowd to hold Song Fei accountable. Song Fei leans back. He mutters to himself that someone finally came to cause trouble just as expected. He calmly gets up and addresses the crowd. Introducing himself as Song Fei, he pretends to acknowledge the public concern. He states that while buying lifespan, he used some public resources, which caused inconvenience to others, and offers an insincere apology. A girl in the crowd shouts emotionally, rallying others. She insists that Song Fei doesn't need to apologize because he hasn't done anything wrong. Song Fei holds the mic with sincerity and expresses gratitude for the overwhelming support and love from his fans. He urges everyone to channel their admiration in a healthy and positive direction. He explains that while the nation is affected by the godforsaken game, he's been actively cooperating with the authorities and doing his best in-game. He justifies using his personal wealth to buy lifespan in hopes of becoming a role model, a positive influence worth admiring. Tearing up, Song Fei continues his heartfelt speech. He says his real goal was to give back to fans and help them find meaning and happiness through the game. But he never imagined it would cause them so much trouble. As Song Fei begins to apologize sincerely to the audience, saying he never meant to trouble anyone, some fans tear up emotionally. One girl cries out that he doesn't need to apologize, he did nothing wrong. The crowd becomes overwhelmed by emotion. Fans scream out in admiration, calling him gentle and selfless. A heated argument breaks out. Supporters of Song Fei shout at the man who tried to expose him, calling him names and defending their idol fiercely. They insist they volunteered to help Song Fei and accuse the critic of being disrespectful. Another fan screams passionately, warning others not to believe the false rumors and outside propaganda. A fan storms the stage and yells angrily at the doubters. She insists that only idiots would believe the game could affect real-life lifespan and fiercely defends Song Fei. She passionately declares she has died the most for Song Fei in the game, and even if she has only 1 day of lifespan left, she's proud to stand there for him. She adds that anyone who isn't ready to die for Song Fei doesn't deserve to say they love him. Her emotional outburst wins the crowd over. Fans start crying and cheering. They agree with her, shouting things like, "You're right," and "Song Fei, I love you." In a frenzy of loyalty, fans start offering their own remaining lifespan to Song Fei. One shouts they'll give 20 days, another says 17, someone else offers 3. The crowd erupts in offers of self-sacrifice, showing just how far they're willing to go for their idol. On stage, Song Fei opens his arms and declares that he's overwhelmed by the fans' passion. With a big smile, he shouts back that he loves them too, sending the crowd into another frenzy. He turns to the fan who stormed the stage earlier and gently acknowledges her. He says her support truly moves him and thanks her personally. The fan, overwhelmed and in tears, gazes at Song Fei with deep affection. She confesses that if she could keep looking at him like this, she'd willingly give her life for him at any moment. Song Fei, deeply touched, tears up as he looks at her. Suddenly, a sharp beam of energy shoots through the air toward the stage. Song Fei stands frozen, while the devoted fan continues walking toward him. Gasps echo through the crowd as everyone's expressions shift from joy to horror. Among them, even Song Fei's partner and the audience are visibly stunned. The energy blast strikes Song Fei in the head. His eyes widen in disbelief as the impact hits. The crowd watches in shock as Song Fei collapses forward, falling into the arms of the very fan who adored him most. The fan looks up in horror, speechless, as Song Fei collapses in her arms. Song Fei's assistant rushes forward, screaming his name in panic. The crowd begins to realize what's happened. Panic spreads as they shout out in confusion, asking what's wrong with Song Fei. A scream cuts through the noise. Song Fei is dead. The crowd erupts in hysteria. A bodyguard immediately takes charge, yelling that there's danger. He orders the team to protect the young lady and evacuate her from the area. The crowd descends into panic. People cry and shout, urging each other to run. The fear spreads quickly, and everyone rushes to escape. Song Fei's assistant shouts with urgency. She saw a life force orb appear over Song Fei's body right after he died. But then, that orb suddenly vanished. She concludes someone must have taken it. She puts the pieces together and realizes the assassination and the disappearance of Song Fei's lifespan orb were skills from the godforsaken game. Shocked, she questions how someone could use in-game abilities in the real world. But in her mind, only one person is capable of such a feat. Just as the assistant tries to reveal the identity of the killer, a deadly beam of energy strikes her from above, piercing straight through her body before she can finish her sentence. Her eyes widen in terror as the attack lands. Her guards shout in shock, screaming her name. In the distance, a Qin Feng stands in the dispersing crowd, surrounded by blue lightning. Qin Feng attacker is finally visible, calm, and completely enveloped in swirling energy. As the sun sets over the towering city skyline, a shocking report breaks out. Celebrity Song Fei has been found dead in Dajong Square. One of Song Fei's obsessive fans sacrifices herself in a twisted ritual, believing she can inherit his life by fusing with his corpse. The police confirm that Song Fei died due to supernatural powers. The evil sister read the news on their phone, shocked. She breaks down in disbelief, tears streaming as she recalls how they had just attended Song Fei's concert the day before. The other girl begins connecting the dots, mentioning stealth and teleportation abilities seen in the game Divine Abandon. She suspects a player named Shadow might be behind Song Fei's death, referencing his repeated in-game kills of Song Fei. Still shaken, the evil sister questions how game abilities could appear in real life. The idea that fiction is crossing into reality leaves both of them stunned and speechless. Sitting silently, she replays it all in her mind. The abilities match too well: stealth, teleportation, classic assassin traits. With growing certainty, she concludes the killer must be Shadow. As the taxi moves through the city, the girl mourns deeply. Her world has lost its light ever since Shadow killed her brother. But the pain soon transforms into determination. She resolves to get close to Shadow, no matter what it takes. Her goal is clear: she must become stronger, strong enough to confront him. When they arrive, her friend calls out to her in concern. But the evil woman stands firm, declaring that from this day on, her life has only one purpose. Her eyes burn with vengeance as she vows to kill Shadow and avenge her brother Song Fei, no matter the cost. Qin Feng calmly enjoys a bowl of noodles outside a restaurant. As he eats, he reflects that even while in a so-called invincible state during the Divine Abandon game, energy still depletes in the real world. He still needs food to refuel. Suddenly, his phone vibrates on the table, interrupting his meal. He checks the notification. It's from his workplace, warning him that he's on the verge of getting fired if he doesn't return soon. With a sigh, he mutters the name, Yang Zioya. Qin Feng receives a message about a girl with a gentle nature who often gets taken advantage of. In his past life, she was also part of his guild. Instead of working, he decides to enter the Divine Abandoned game again. A conversation in the game chat reveals that many players are running out of lifespan quickly. Qin Feng is advised to boost agility at the start, and when asked how much time he has left, he responds that nearly all of it has already been used up. Hu Pengzi gets scolded by his boss Qian Shishi, the daughter of a powerful corporation's chairman. She has a notorious history of targeting men, even causing scandals with foreign businessmen, and now has her sights set on Qin Feng. In the game's previous cycle, Qian Shishi didn't just act arrogantly. She moved to North America and built one of the top 3 guilds there, constantly opposing Daxia and creating countless problems for his guild. Qin Feng narrows his eyes, realizing that if he wants to stop Qian Shishi from founding a major enemy guild in North America, he must act before she leaves the country. If she dies, the Elysian's guild might never form. He recalls rumors that many top contributors to the Elysian Guild were romantically tied to her. Removing her would sever those connections and collapse the guild's foundation. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. The caller is Zioyu. Qin Feng answers casually, surprised to be contacted. Zioyu, on the other end, mocks him for not being dead in the game. She announces she's made enough money to buy her own place and no longer needs his help. Qin Feng casually ends the call with Zioyu. She emotionally declares that she wants to cut all ties with him. Unbothered, he responds with a simple okay before putting his phone away. Finishing his meal, Qin Feng gets up and prepares to leave. He knows he must return and continue leveling up. Soon, players will reach level 10, and when they realize that powers can manifest in the real world, everything will change. Looking at the skyline filled with birds, Qin Feng mutters to himself, once that happens, the world will never know peace again. While walking through a European-style town, Zioyu's friend questions whether cutting ties with her brother was too harsh. But Zioyu refuses to apologize, stating she sold her game lifespan to Qian Corporation for 2 million and has no regrets. Proud of her decision, Zioyu boasts she even bought a house for herself and her mother. She's confident that once she meets Shadow, her brother will become irrelevant. Later, she's approached by a young man delivering the assassin skill book she requested. He greets her cheerfully, unaware of her true motives. Feigning kindness, she promises to repay his favor once her plans are fulfilled. Internally, however, she looks down on him, vowing to discard him the moment she meets Shadow. Zioyu approaches a player named Wang, sweetly offering him a high-quality assassin skill book. She asks if he can check whether Shadow needs it, offering to gift it to him. Smirking to herself, Zioyu thinks this skill book might be the perfect excuse to get close to Shadow. She calls it the red thread that will tie them together. In the woods, Zioyu fantasizes about being Shadow's silent support, healing him, killing enemies for him, and helping him level up. She plans to become indispensable. She imagines a future where Shadow gradually trusts her, even sees her as his other half. But when she becomes strong enough and he's no longer useful, she plans to abandon him just like she did to everyone else. Consumed by vengeance, Zioyu stabs a target while screaming that she'll personally kill Shadow and gouge out his eyes, vowing to avenge her beloved Song Fei. But her fantasy is quickly shattered. A messenger relays that Shadow rejected her gift, calling the skill book trash. In the desolate wilderness, Shadow was engaged in battle, surrounded by rising blue energy. Suddenly, someone shouts a warning, "Watch out!" Shadow hides behind a rock and quickly assesses the danger. This is no ordinary boss. He mutters that surviving comes first. Suddenly, a red creature charges at Wang Meng. He shouts in panic, urging his teammates to run. He braces himself behind a shield, but the beast's overwhelming number of blades surrounds him, leaving no escape. A brutal strike crashes down. The ground explodes with force as debris scatters. Hiding behind a rock, Shadow narrows his eyes. This isn't just any monster, it's a level 8 golden tier boss with powerful enhancements. He recalls the data. This boss has 2 levels of anti-stealth attributes. That means its true strength is far greater than it appears. He realizes something crucial. The monster can completely negate stealth abilities. As the monstrous boss charges forward with glowing eyes and deadly blades, Shadow acknowledges the danger. His usual tricks won't work here. As the creature with red limbs and multiple blades roars furiously as it charges forward, Shadow leaps out from behind a rock. In a flash, Shadow strikes. Blue slashes pierce the boss repeatedly, and damage numbers explode around them. He notes that if the enemy couldn't detect him, his surprise attack would have dealt even more damage. But since the boss could see through stealth, his damage output was slightly reduced. Thanks to the legendary skill Grace Unleashed, the boss's head and core weak points are now magnified by 200%, making it far more vulnerable than before. Out of Shadow's 9 rapid strikes, 3 hit the weak spots precisely, inflicting triple damage. This perfectly compensated for the earlier damage reduction. The evil sister smirks proudly, crediting her rare skill and thanking friend who helped her find the worship temple where she obtained it. Shadow's attack drops the golden tier boss's HP by nearly 1/3 with a single blow. The poisonous spear slams directly into the boss's face, causing a critical hit. The damage is massive. Its regeneration can't keep up anymore. Shadow clenches his fist and reflects. He realizes he still needs to advance his class further to unlock higher levels of stealth to maximize his power. The boss isn't finished, yet it lunges toward him with blinding speed and full fury. The towering red boss descends with all its blades aimed at Shadow, launching one last desperate attack. A girl shouts in alarm from behind the rocks, warning Shadow of the incoming attack. The enemy as the boss unleashes a flurry of rapid, deadly slashes. Blades clash in a chaotic storm. From a distance, 2 spectators watch in awe. They're stunned by Shadow's incredible reaction speed and his complete understanding of the boss's attack patterns. Shadow blocks each blow flawlessly. It's as if he's fought this exact boss countless times before, adapting with precision honed through relentless experience. Shadow recalls his past life, how he once fought alongside Kin Zioyu, who couldn't even protect herself back then, let alone support him. That failure pushed him to master evasive footwork and dodging skills as a warrior. Shadow's eyes sharpen. This is the reason why, even with a basic class, he's ranked among the top 100 fighters in the world. He effortlessly weaves through the boss's flurry of blades under a web of blue light. The golden tier boss stares in disbelief, blood dripping as its health continues to drop rapidly. Shadow compares this boss to others he's faced in the past. Unlike those with unavoidable special moves, this one is far easier to handle. From behind the rocks, the girl watches in shock. She can't believe it. The powerful golden tier boss is actually fleeing. Shadow doesn't hesitate. He activates his skill and launches a deadly green energy spear straight at the retreating enemy. In one final strike, the boss is pierced midair and killed instantly. System notifications appear: boss defeated, XP gained, and rare loot secured. After the boss is defeated, Shadow receives his rewards: 28 total evolution points and nearly 2,000 days of tradable lifespan. The system screen glows brightly with the loot details. He's stunned at the sheer value of what he just earned. His eyes fixate on the reward interface, realizing the opportunity in front of him. Among the rewards is the Blacklight Shield, a powerful golden tier skill. When used, it can convert his evasion rate into damage immunity. Combined with his existing dodge skills, it makes him nearly untouchable. Without hesitation, Shadow evolves the Blacklight Shield to its highest possible rank, Legendary. Shadow uses 6 evolution points to enhance his Blacklight Shield, gaining 7 layers of damage immunity and reducing the shield activation threshold to 10%. With this strong defense, he's now confident in exploring higher level zones. Next, he spends 16 points to upgrade his venomous flying blade, increasing its damage and poison effect. The enhanced skill now stacks poison up to 800% and applies a weakening debuff, making it a powerful tool for sustained damage. Lastly, Shadow equips 2 assassin class items: a platinum accessory that boosts agility, speed, and cooldown reduction, and a golden glove that increases defense, health, and resistance. With his current gear, Shadow's cooldown reduction reaches an impressive 55%. What used to take 12 seconds, his signature blink strike now only needs 7 seconds. Additionally, the evolution boosts his stats significantly, plus 51 to Constitution, plus 106 to physical defense, and a massive plus 1517 to HP. Meanwhile, his teammates watch in awe. They can hardly believe he soloed the boss. One praises his unmatched strength, while another eagerly asks if there's any equipment or skill he could sell to them. Shadow begins assisting his teammates with equipment and skills. When asked if he has any valuable items for a mage, he pulls out a golden skill book titled Frost Bombardment, a powerful AoE skill that unleashes up to 10 ice orbs. The asking price, 800 tien coins. The mage hesitates, noting that a similar level golden skill book she saw earlier only cost 400 tien, but Shadow calmly explains, this isn't just any skill book, it's a level 7 skill, which deals over 40% more damage than the level 5 version. Given its power, 800 tien is more than reasonable. The mage doesn't argue further. She quickly agrees, sealing the deal with confidence. 800 tien, it's a deal. Shadow has just defeated a high-level boss, losing a golden tier skill book called Frost Bullet in the process. However, his victory earns him 800 days of transferable lifespan, making the trade-off well worth it. Confident and composed, Shadow declares that lower-level bosses no longer pose any threat to him. He plans to return to town to post a notice seeking locations of silver and gold tier bosses, aiming to farm them efficiently and rapidly boost his growth. Just as Shadow is about to head out, a teammate approaches him with a message from a healer named Zioyu. She wishes to gift Shadow a skill book. Shadow, skeptical, immediately assumes it's just another low-quality, bronze tier skill and dismisses it as useless trash. While the outside world is abuzz with theories that Shadow is the one eliminating powerful figures left and right, the idea of someone sending him a Shadow-related skill book seems either coincidental or suspicious. Uninterested, Shadow tells his teammate to reject the offer and let Zioyu keep the book for herself. Internally, he wonders whether Zioyu is trying to get close to him or seek revenge, or perhaps both. The message is relayed back to Zioyu. Shadow called her skill book trash and said he doesn't need it. Shocked and disappointed, Zioyu can only mutter in disbelief. Shadow calls Wang Meng to meet him in town, saying he has something to sell in exchange for lifespan. Wang Meng enthusiastically agrees, responding without hesitation. Wang Meng brings up a serious question. He hesitates slightly, then asks about Song Fei, the name of someone significant. Looking directly at Shadow, Wang Meng asks if it was him who killed Song Fei. Shadow confirms without flinching, yes, I killed him. While reviewing the timeline of Song Fei's murder, Wang Meng discovers a critical clue. Thanks to his close connection with Wang Meng, he confirms that Shadow, with a potentially dangerous past, was offline during the entire period of the crime. Meanwhile, Shadow becomes aware that the investigation has reached a pivotal point. With Wang Meng's cooperation, the authorities have tightened their net. Rather than panic, Shadow remains calm, almost amused. Just 2 hours before the local stations report the incident publicly, Shadow sees this moment as a test. For him, it's not just about evading arrest, but observing how the Daxia authorities react to a situation orchestrated under such calculated pressure. The Grand Clock Tower, all eyes turn toward Shadow, who enters confidently. From within the crowd, Enyu steps forward. She questions Shadow directly, asking if he admits to killing someone named Song Fei. Without hesitation, Shadow calmly confirms her suspicion. Enyu smiles, slightly blushing as she reveals they've already conducted a thorough investigation. She concludes that Shadow is indeed their prime suspect. While Shadow stands firm, a member of the Wang Meng group speaks up, acknowledging that both Song Fei and Zhong Lai were plotting against him. She also reveals that their company had been illegally detaining and abusing players, forcing them into labor. In that context, Shadow's act of killing them is viewed as a justified defense. Shadow reflects silently. He realizes that because they can't uncover his true identity, the group has no choice but to cooperate with him for now. Internally, he recalls how, in his previous life, working with the officials was uneventful, but in this life, taking out Song Fei and Zhong Lai early might create meaningful change. Pointing at a glowing system screen, Shadow contemplates how his rebirth could influence the entire game world. He wonders how much change his actions might bring to this chaotic system and its unfolding era. Armed with rare equipment, Shadow remarks that now he can finally sell the platinum-grade items he previously couldn't use. Since he has official backing, even job-locked gear and skills can be traded. The group stares in shock. One whispers about him killing a platinum boss, while another is amazed there's no global announcement despite acquiring such high-tier loot. Shadow downplays his fortune, casually saying he just got lucky finding a few emerald chests. But others in the Wang Meng group aren't convinced. One member points out that she saw him unlock multiple platinum-grade items with her own eyes and questions if this really counts as just luck. Little Black pouts while comparing how he affectionately calls the blonde girl Xiao Zhu but calls her Xiao Hai. Trying to ease the moment, Shadow teases her by offering to call her Little Blackie instead. Embarrassed and flustered, she quickly interrupts and tells him just to stick with Little Black. Wang Meng sighs as he watches the interaction. He mutters how people really can't be compared. Despite their group struggling to defeat a single silver-tier boss, Shadow casually unlocks platinum and emerald chests like it's nothing, leaving everyone stunned. Shadow begins listing the prices of his rare loot. A platinum-grade archer skill book goes for 2,500 days, a berserker weapon for 1,500, and a mage skill book for 3,000. He bundles golden tier gear and skills for 8,000 days, and finally offers everything including lower tier loot 25 items total for a discounted price of 16,000 days. NEU calmly agrees to the offer, stunning Wang Meng. He argues that she should have at least bargained, but she insists the price is reasonable. She also asks Shadow to include items that Little Snow and Wang Meng had previously ordered but hadn't paid for. The trade is successfully completed. Shadow praises NEU for being bold and decisive, calling her one of the most straightforward buyers he's ever dealt with. NEU laughs joyfully at the compliment. Shadow reflects that once lifespan trades surpass 10,000 days, the unit shifts to years. Their current trade equates to about 60 years or roughly 22,000 days. Based on conversion rates, it equals nearly 4 billion in cash. Even for major city officials, it's a massive investment, but one that promises returns far beyond the price paid. With this powerful batch of gear and skill books in hand, the Zhonghai city officials now have a significant advantage. Their teams can get ahead of the competition, and the stronger their forces become, the fewer obstacles they'll face in future conflicts, including international tournaments. NEU informs Shadow that Dajong Industry is holding several players captive. Their team is planning a rescue mission and invites Shadow to join them. She hopes his strength could help their cause. Shadow suspects the invitation is a ploy to redeem his image by associating him with the officials. He declines the offer but agrees to share some valuable information in advance. Confirming their suspicions, Shadow admits he did use and gain power to kill both Song Fei and Zhang Lai. He reveals a secret. Once the game reaches level 10, players can sacrifice lifespan to extract in-game abilities into the real world. Shadow warns them to understand the gravity of what he just revealed. He tells them to act quickly before it's too late, hinting at the deeper consequences that come with delaying their plans. As Shadow turns to leave, he confirms that Dajong Industry is also collecting lifespan. If their members reach level 10 and extract in-game powers, any rescue operation will face much stronger resistance. He gives them one last look and departs, vanishing into a blue portal. Watching him disappear, the group remains silent. The swirling portal fades, leaving only the urgency of his warning behind. NEU turns to Wang Meng and commands the next move. They'll split up for training. Since most of them are already high level, fighting together wastes their potential. By dividing up and leading smaller squads, they can significantly improve overall leveling efficiency. Wang Meng nods with determination. NEU instructs everyone to focus on reaching level 10. She also sends one member offline to report their findings to higher authorities. Elsewhere, players spot Shadow again. They're surprised he's stirring up attention, but this time, not by selling rare gear, but by actively making purchases. A glowing message appears above Shadow. He's offering 30 days of lifespan to anyone who can provide a silver tier boss location and 100 days for a gold tier boss location. His new objective is clear. The surrounding players stare in amazement. Shadow's strategy has shifted. He's no longer dealing items, but hunting power. A smug man notices Shadow and mocks him for still being here, acting like he's causing a scene. He offers Shadow a deal on behalf of his company's heiress, 300 million in cash and a stake in Dajong industry if Shadow agrees to help her level up. He urges Shadow not to waste such a rare opportunity in life. The man nearby blurts out in shock, revealing that Shadow already killed Song Fei and their company's heiress in the real world. The other guy is stunned, he didn't even know she was dead. The realization hits him hard. He angrily shouts that she brought this upon herself, thinking she could enslave Shadow in the real world, but instead, she ended up getting killed on the spot. John Lai had initially offered 10 million for Shadow to help her level up. When he refused, this man, blinded by greed, took her place. But during the money handover, he was suddenly ambushed and beaten by her people. He later woke up in an unknown basement, shackled and bruised. From that point on, he was forced to work for them inside the game, earning lifespan currency while luring other players into the same trap. She mocks the outcome, laughing that such a cruel woman deserved it. Meanwhile, the man realizes with dread that while he had been ridiculing Shadow all along, the real fool was him. Mocked again, the man tries to explain that he was only a victim, nervously apologizing. Shadow says nothing, but another voice coldly tells him to step aside, his fate will be settled by the official authorities. A player approaches Shadow and offers information about a silver-tier boss. Shadow calmly responds, confirming the deal: 30 days of lifespan in exchange. Elsewhere, players spot a new arrival, Black Peach. Whispers spread that she's the heiress of the powerful Cayenne group. Others warn to stay away, claiming she's killed multiple players by stealing their lifespan. Black Peach stands confidently with her elite squad, radiating power. She arrogantly dismisses the game's difficulty. With just a bit of money, she bought top-tier skills and equipment. Her strategy is clear: stay ahead in combat power, then kill other players and steal their lifespan whenever needed. Black Peach stands atop a fallen player, casually absorbing his lifespan. Her method is brutal but effective: kill and take what others have earned. Later, she vents about how the game made her miss her flight. She complains that she should be in North America by now, enjoying luxury with rich elites like Biggs, Marcus, and Fox. In her fantasy, she imagines herself surrounded by foreign men, indulging in pleasure. Now stuck in Daxia, she can't even leave the country, and her resentment grows stronger. Looking down on local men, she mocks them for being weak and disgusting. In contrast, she praises the masculinity of the Western men she admires, openly expressing her disdain for those around her. Cayenne Shishi blushes with excitement as her foreign companion praises her for recognizing real strength. He assures her that their side is far superior to the local men, and once they return to reality, she'll get to truly experience it. As they walk, another man casually asks if the weakling Song Fei is really dead. The silver-haired foreigner mocks him, saying Song Fei lasted less than a minute with her before just pure trash. Cayenne Shishi licks her lips and smirks. She's turned on by the idea that someone powerful killed Song Fei. Even if Shadow is a Daxia native, she's suddenly eager to test him herself. She reasons that if Shadow could kill Song Fei, then killing a random nobody should be even easier. This might be the perfect excuse for her to approach him and get a closer look at his strength. Cayenne Shishi prepares to go offline, saying she'll call someone to approach Shadow directly. Her companion quietly reacts in awe, offering 3,000 days of lifespan as payment is no small deal. She thinks to herself that even if Shadow isn't tempted by money, there's no way he could refuse 3,000 days of life. After all he'd have to do is kill one ordinary person to earn it. Meanwhile, King Feng smirks with malice. He remembers the look on someone's face when they rejected him, and now he's fixated on revenge. He declares his intent very soon. That person named Qin Feng will be dead. Amid heavy rain, a warrior is pierced by a slime monster's attack. He grits his teeth and counters, desperately fighting for survival. Just as he's about to fall, golden healing magic bursts around him. A mage girl and a younger support stand behind, casting a life-saving spell that purifies the monster and restores the warrior. Breathing heavily, the warrior complains to Xiaoyu, saying her healing was too close to the limit. He jokes that he nearly met his great-grandmother from how close he was to death. Xiaoyu snaps back, reminding him he's clearly still alive. Embarrassed, the boy clarifies he wasn't blaming her, just pointing it out. Meanwhile, the younger support casually says her hunger stat hit 90%, and she's logging off to eat, calling her mom to go. As the rain continues to pour, the boy watches silently as Xiaoyu and the younger girl vanish into digital light. Logging out of the game, clenching his fist, the boy curses under his breath. He recalls how the group, after seeing his association with Shadow, began treating him differently. Bitterly, he vows to get revenge and strip away their pride. In the bright cityscape under a clear blue sky, inside an elegant room, Xiaoyu wakes up in her new apartment. She rubs her eyes and mumbles groggily, feeling hungry as she sits up in bed surrounded by scattered clothes. Still in bed, she checks her phone and is surprised that all delivery services are shut down. She guesses even the riders have gone into the divine abandoned game world. She remembers the past, how Qin Feng used to cook for her all the time at home. Everything was prepared perfectly, and she never had to lift a finger or think twice. Feeling a bit emotional, she suddenly brightens up. Xiaoyu claps her cheeks and encourages herself. To her, going out just to get food is nothing compared to chasing freedom. Pumping her fists, she gives herself a pep talk. She tells herself she's the best and can handle it. Even without Qin Feng, she's confident she'll do better on her own. Under a bright sky by the ocean, a quiet cave entrance sits undisturbed until a low rumble begins echoing from within. Suddenly, a giant crab monster with glowing red eyes bursts out of the cave, charging forward with violent force and shaking the ground. As it rushes out, a dark blue energy tears through the air. The attack lands head-on, piercing through the monster's body and slamming it into the ground. Blood splashes as the powerful blow ends the threat instantly. Standing over the defeated boss, Shadow reflects on his progress. In just over an hour, he's managed to kill 4 silver tier bosses. The efficiency was solid, and each kill brought 16 evolution points. He calculates that the average loot from each boss equals up to 3,500 days of tradable lifespan. Now, all his gear has reached gold tier or higher, with cooldown speed boosted from 55% to 75%. Shadow's attacks are much faster. His main skill's cooldown dropped from 12 seconds to 6.8, allowing a massive spike in damage output. Since there are no platinum tier bosses outside towns, his current gold tier gear is top level for now. Looking at the X bar, Shadow notes that to face future platinum bosses each with at least level 2 hidden class counters, he must advance his class. To do that, he needs to reach hidden class level 3, but he's still 2 million experience short. Shadow knows that reaching hidden class level 3 is critical. Only then will he minimize risks when facing platinum tier bosses. In his past life, defeating such a boss required a perfectly coordinated team of 20 elite players. He decides to return to town first and plans to contact an official trader to sell all the loot he collected from recent boss fights. Eyes sharp with determination, Shadow vows to move ahead of everyone. He's set on being the first to solo kill a platinum tier boss and claim the achievement for himself. As he arrives back at town, the system displays he now holds 105 years of tradable life. A trader excitedly asks for future deals. Shadow notes that with nearly 40,000 days of tradable time, he can acquire many rare resources going forward. A man peeks out from behind a pillar, calling out to Shadow. He is excited and confidently guesses that Shadow must be the infamous Dark Shadow. Without hesitation, the man offers him an assassination job. He says the task is to kill someone in real life and promises a generous reward for completing it. Shadow ignores him completely and walks away. The man is left speechless and confused by the silent rejection. Desperate, the man chases after Shadow, offering a name Qin Feng and insists it's just a normal person. He tries to tempt Shadow by reminding him he even killed Song Fei, implying this should be easy. He can't understand why Shadow would refuse free money. Shadow silently processes the name Qin Feng. Hearing the target's identity, the man assures Shadow the reason doesn't matter. He just needs the job done and promises a reward of 3,000 tradable days of life upon completion. Shadow calculates the offer's market value, it's equivalent to 50,000 credits. He finds it suspicious, wondering who would place such a high bounty on him. The client himself seems fake, likely just a messenger. The real mastermind must be someone else with a grudge against Qin Feng. Shadow recalls that during his past life, he only encountered such high-level players late in the game. If someone is moving this early with such resources, it must be a powerful enemy from the pre-cataclysm era, someone he once crossed paths with. Kyan Shishi appears in Shadow's mind. She's rich, powerful, and ambitious, one of the few who could possibly have both motive and means to target Qin Feng. He acknowledges that with the Kyan family's resources, they could have taken him out before the Divine Abandon game ever started. That means this job likely hides a deeper intention. He suspects the real goal isn't just eliminating Qin Feng. Instead, Kyan Shishi might be using this bounty to establish contact with the mysterious Dark Shadow identity he's now assumed. Smirking, Shadow agrees to take the job, but on his terms. He demands half the payment up front and insists that the timing of the kill will be decided by him, not the client. The agent hesitates at the demand for a half upfront deposit. Nervously, he says he'll need to confirm with his higher-ups before proceeding. He sends a message through a system interface. Shadow silently waits while both sides interact through their digital transaction panels. After a brief exchange, the agent agrees and transfers the advance. Shadow receives 1,500 tradable days. With a smirk, he accepts it as a deposit and internally warns Kyan Shishi that her time is coming. The agent sends over the target's full location and details. Shadow glances at the info and is surprised it's a familiar place from his real-world residence. As Shadow walks away, he tells the group to just wait. Meanwhile, one of the agents mutters internally that Shadow's attitude isn't that special, he's still doing Miss Kyan's bidding, just like the rest of them. Suddenly, a confident woman stops Shadow and calls out to him. She gestures with a raised hand. She casually mentions she heard he's been collecting boss coordinates. She offers him a location for a gold tier boss and asks if he's interested. She proposes a deal 100 tradable days upon confirming the boss's presence. Then she adds it's located at the north edge of town and offers to guide him there since the road is a bit far. Shadow asks for the boss's name. The woman casually replies it's called the Plague Ring Controller. Hearing the name, Shadow recognizes it as a real gold tier boss. She warns him that it deals poison-type damage and asks if he needs a healer. He declines, saying he only needs directions. As they walk, Shadow confirms to himself that the Plague Ring Controller is indeed a gold tier boss. He mentally prepares for the challenge ahead. The woman explains that the boss creates a poisonous aura. Anyone inside its range continuously loses health over time. She points toward the direction they're heading and notes that to defeat the boss, one must finish the battle quickly. For her, that challenge is nearly impossible at her current level.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.